Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning! Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Indeed, it's Friday. And it's sweep day. We are celebrating the sweep of the Dodgers. What an incredible 3 days. What a statement. What an amazing 3 days of Phillies baseball. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we are presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the credit union difference. TrueMark.com/PHLY. Well, let's get right to it, man. Those fighting Phillies, amazing. Yesterday, dodging some bullets. Nola's terrific, consistent. He strikes out 9 LA Dodgers in 6 innings. Strom comes in. He's lights out again. And Phillies bats, what do you say? Trey Turner is out of his mind right now. You see it, right? He gets it started early with the home run. He is, in his 21 games since he came back from injury, Trey Turner is hitting .356 with 11 multi-hit games. I mean, wow. He's just ripping the cover off the ball. Brandon Marsh, home run yesterday, triple yesterday. He looked great. Schwarber late. In the powder blues, it was just a festive party at Citizens Bank. So they sweep the Dodgers, which is just an incredible feat. They're 55 and they're 61-32 right now. You got the A's coming in for 3 this weekend, and then the All-Star break. I mean, can you get a bigger statement? The first game, they just lay out the bats and trounce them, 10-1, right? Big time, double digits. They go after it. Next game, great pitchers duel, survive. The bullpen's fantastic, 4-3. And look, same yesterday, right? It's 5-1, so it feels like there was a lot of that it wasn't as tight. But there were some moments, right? Rojas makes the great catch in the 7th inning off of Kiki Hernandez, which would have scored a couple runs. Right? There was a couple of moments. And how about what the Titans pitching did to Shohei Ohtani? There were some big moments where Ohtani comes up with men on base and did not come through. Yesterday, another struggle for Nohei. That's right. It was interesting. And we talk about this, and again, we understand that comes October, it's a whole different game. But think about it. The Dodgers have to come to Philadelphia. The Phillies will have home field. I got to say, like, they got to be in their heads a little bit when they come here. The crowd was ridiculous. Our man, the Skeeve was there. Andrew was fired up. I mean, it was just a great night, man. This whole Philly summer, and it's a red summer, has been incredible. I mean, like one night after another, the theater that goes on down there is unbelievable. I mean, we've had the fan base is loud, and Nolan was talking about it, right? And just how incredible the fans were. Every night they talk about these players, and it's just one of the most memorable seasons in the history of the franchise. Now, we'll see what happens second half in the playoffs, but this has been the most memorable I think about it. Like, you know, we have had the 08 season and the 11, we're just talking regular seasons. And 09 and 10, and they're hitting the raking, and 11 with the 4 aces. But this, I got to tell you, I think this one is right now topping it. Just regular season, not including the playoffs. That's Popping Off, brought to you by Olipop. Don't forget Olipop this weekend, the soda that's good for you, and it mixes well with your vodka gin. I'll tell you right now. Make sure you buy yours at your local Wawa. Here's our boys, JP, John Zapata, VG, Violations, Greg. What do you say, boys? Sorry, allergies are just wrecking me right now.
No worries, cuz. We got you. It's great morning. Obviously, it was a little damp, a little dreary here, but the Phillies got us feeling good this morning, cuz.
Well, they do, man. They do. They like forget about feeling good. Like this whole thing has been an incredible theater.
Oh my God,
Bo Adamas. He called the sweep.
He did call that. He did call the sweep. Oh
and
my
he was
God!
saying like blowout numbers. I'm thinking he's a little crazy. He's like 5-run win tonight, sweep. You're thinking Bo is nuts. He's amazing.
Boa!
I love Bo Adamas. I wish he'd help me out on Wimbledon a little bit.
The best is
everything.
Every morning, VG's there looking at Wimbledon. I'm like, who you got?
Get some action. Anytime there's a Paisan playing, I'm betting it.
Because there was a lot of impressive stuff during this series, but I think what's more impressive is how we kind of just shut down Shohei Ohtani. I mean, you kind of talked about him last night, but 4-10 throughout this entire series. And, you know, Andrew and I were having fun this morning looking at his numbers against the Phillies. He hasn't played that well against the Phillies in his career. He's gotten struck out more times than he has hits against the Phils. And that stuff is kind of impressive. You're talking about one of the most impressive baseball players that we have today.
Well,
impressive. Blotani. Get out of here. Hey, check this out. We'll do an early nug. Phillies and Cardinals. Only two teams in Major League Baseball he has not hit a home run against.
Really?
Yeah.
You think about it.
Stinks.
Yeah. That lineup, right? Now, obviously, there's no Mookie Betts for the Dodgers, but that lineup is really top heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it starts to thin out as you go down. Now, again, look, the Dodgers had half their rotation, if not, or 4/5 of their rotation on the DL.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that Dodger team's a great team between Betts and their entire rotation, basically. Mm-hmm. Glasnow, Yamamoto, like those guys are in manga. Those guys are on the DL. That's a big deal.
Pieces.
But put that aside, Phillies dominated them.
Yeah.
Completely dominated them.
It's the ballpark. It's everything right now. And you're talking about top heavy. David Murphy, during the game, he's like, the Dodgers need 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They're the second best team in the National League, and they're trotting out Vargas, Chris Taylor, and Kiki Hernandez.
Yeah.
They are thin at the bottom.
They are. It thins out.
Yeah.
Like, Vargas and Pages, like, they're young players, but, like, this is – now, I wonder, are they going to go hit the deadline hard, right? A little bit later on today, we're going to talk to Bob Nightengale. Bob is the baseball writer for USA Today. I've known Bob forever. We covered the sport together. He was in L.A. at the L.A. Times forever. So we'll talk to Bob. And, there's a lot of rumors about the Phillies and Rooker, especially. Bob has that. We'll talk to him about that at around 10:30.
He's a great follow on Twitter or X. He's always got breaking news and good insight.
But I will tell you right now, this Aiden Miller, I'm not moving Aiden Miller. The way the Phillies are playing right now with this team, you don't need, do I want a right-handed bat, maybe another arm? Sure. But again, you don't need it. You don't. It's not a prerequisite. Oh, my God. There are years when you go, they need something. Mm-hmm. Like, you could smell it. But this year, they're clearly best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Like, the Yankees went on a slide. The Dodgers now have lost 8 of their last 11, right? So the Phillies contributed to that slide. The Braves, we know their story.
Yep.
The Phillies sit alone. Now, I know
the Guardians have been struggling a little lately. They just lost 2 or 3 to the Tigers. I mean, the Orioles are playing consistent ball. But
even the Orioles have cooled off. They lost last night to the Cubs. They got smashed by the Cubs last night. Like, when you think about it, the Phillies sit alone atop all of MLB.
Yeah, every stat. For the most, I'm looking at the records now. Run differential, their home stats at 36-14.
One of the most complete teams in baseball by far.
Oh yeah, MLB yesterday afternoon I was watching that and they were going down. They're like, they could use a little bullpen help at the back end and maybe an outfield right-handed bat, but They're like they don't have a hole in the line. They're the most complete team in baseball.
I'll say this: I'm not saying he saved the spot, but he's making a case, Mr. Rojas, with the way he's been playing the field out there.
Well, remember early on in the season, his glove was okay. It wasn't special. Like you're used to him playing elite center field, right? Mm-hmm. And like last night, that catch he makes was ridiculous. Like that was a great catch.
And he's getting a little swagger. I mean, he's got that clip.
Do we have the clip?
He's getting a little Philly swagger now out there.
Let's look. This is Rojas after the game. I love what he says right now. Take a look.
My glove. We don't care who's coming. We don't care who we're playing. We're just gonna beat them. Anyone can come here and they're gonna end up losing the games or the series. And same with the goal that we have for the World Series. We'll go out and win it. We're hungry to win, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we're gonna do.
How about that, man?
My man is feeling himself, cuz.
No, but the two things he says. One is if you're going to hit it to me, you better hit it out. Yeah.
You hit ball, I can't.
No, that's a flex, right? That's an ultimate flex by Rojas. Yeah. And then he says, these teams come in here, you're going to get swept or you're going to lose a series.
Yeah.
Like, that's some big words, man.
Yeah, man. He's had that confidence. And I think a lot has to do with the dugout and the clubhouse vibe. But I think that's what is playing into him playing well as of late. But we'll see. He's making his case,
right? Like we always talk about, and I'm a big believer in this, that that baseball playoffs, it's a completely different animal, right? There's some teams that transcend that, right? That are so good. I remember the '96 Yankees, right? They were just so elite. There's been a few of them. Even the Phillies, and it's funny, in 2011, they would have won the World Series if they had got past St. Louis. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. The interesting thing is when we think about this, are they that kind of elite?
I mean, I would have to say so.
I feel like they are.
We were talking about how complete they are.
I'm nervous to say it, but I feel like they are.
It's funny. We had on Boa the other day, Boa Damas. And Boa Damas was talking about, and you could hear it in his voice, right? Obviously, it's always going to come down to the playoffs and the whole thing about how successful a season is going to be. But Boa Damas was talking about, the rust factor off of the wild card, right? Like, but you could tell that was in his mind, right? Because he's going, wow, this team's so good that the only thing that can hurt it is any kind of rust, any kind of, which is the worst sometimes in this sport. But this team does feel like it's got this like super elite status. Like, not every team that wins every year is the elite team, right? This feels like a different.
They have a little bit of like a short-term memory because, like, look, this week is like the perfect example, right? Like, you lose a series to the Braves, you come into this week against a Dodgers team that this is a big series. This is 1-2 in the NL, and they showed up and swept the Dodgers. I think this week is the perfect example. I'm not worried about that bias situation because obviously, listen, we've seen it before, but this team knows how to show up when they need to.
It feels like they're just like. We've been here before,
Yeah.
They're just on a mission. And there's aside from injuries, I don't think anything's stopping them this year.
Well, the fact, and it's funny, we've been here before is a big deal, right? So the fact that you could draw upon 2 years ago and the run to the World Series against the Astros, right? Mm-hmm. The NLCS against San Diego, the DS against the Braves, right? Like that. And then you come back last year. And look, it ended. Nobody liked the way it ended against Arizona, but that felt like more like an anomaly, right? You dispatch the Braves in the first round, and then you come back and you're looking at you only got one eye at the World Series because you come home up 3-2. Having all that postseason experience,
exactly.
I do think I agree with you guys in the sense that you go in having been there. that's a big advantage.
Yeah.
Like, and the core group being together, having experienced it with one another is big. And by the way, it feels like they really do have Trey Turner this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's what we thought we were getting. He's even better, right? I mean, the fielding, I'll live with his Busher in the field.
Yeah. I don't care about that. Like, when you look at his bat right now, he's dialed in.
Yeah.
Like I told you, the 21 games since he's back from the disabled, the injured list, and he's batting .356, and he's got 11 multi-hit games.
Well, he had multiple multi-hit home run games sprinkled in there.
Well, I mean, I put that tweet out on the Gargano Show Twitter account. I was like, well, we all know about June Schwarber. How about July Turner? Because my man has been raking in July so far.
Yeah.
Through the first couple of days here.
Yeah, it's and the whole thing. Yeah.
Freeman's a killer for me usually. He's a Phillies killer.
Dude,
you know what he was this series? 0 for 10.
Dude, yeah, he was
Nothing.
mad quiet.
He didn't get on base, I don't think.
No.
He always kills us.
Nola,
That's crazy,
Nola
man.
does what
Well,
Nola
can
does.
I want to bring Noah up for a second, right?
You do have to.
Because, if yesterday he gives up 5 runs in 6 innings or 5 innings, Nola, right?
Yeah.
And he really doesn't go through his starts, right? If you go look at his game log, he's only got 3 games where he got kind of hit around a little bit.
Yeah.
He has been a model of consistency. And look, I'm the same way where I have a little trepidation when it comes to lefties, particularly power lefties against him at times, because sometimes he'll catch a little bit on the plate, and that's where you get hurt. But, like, he navigated Ohtani, he navigated Freeman, the 2 power lefties. He navigates Will Smith and Teo Hernandez.
Yeah. I do think last year, it's a lot, that contract hanging over his head. I think that guy, he seems way more focused and way more consistent this year. This seems like the Nola we're used to. Last year, he did have those implosion innings. I think he's past that. I think he's comfortable. He likes being here. He's got the extended contract. I have a video, this guy Pitching Ninja, where all he does is tweet about pitching, and he's got this Nola's 94 mile per hour and his knuckle curve overlaid on top of each other, and you see the release point and the plane. Here it is here, but it's like they are almost on the exact same path until like maybe 8 feet ahead of the batter, and then the knuckle curve just drops and dies off. It's almost impossible to hit when he's got those 2 pitches that consistent.
No, you're exactly right, VG. So hard
When
to hit
you look
off
at the
that.
release point, because as a hitter, you're going, all right, what's it look like, right? So if you're dialing up and you're dialing up fastball, and all right, I got to load early, right, and that comes at you. It does. It keeps you off balance.
But you're spot on. Like, when he has those pitches working, like, he's one of the best pitchers in this league. And I just love the way he pitched himself out of trouble yesterday as well.
And I really think people should tune into like the MLB Network at night, because when you hear those guys talk about Nola, he's a stud.
Absolutely.
The rest of the talking heads nationally, they love Nola. He's an innings eater with good stuff. His breaking ball's legit. And I mean that overlay, his fastball is at the top of that box.
Yeah.
And the knuckle curve is just dying almost in the dirt. And they're starting out the same path.
It does. It falls off the table. It does. It falls off the. And listen, like, people were bitching about the contract, and that turned out to be a great deal.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when they signed, I go, it's like in that market for pitchers, forget about the money's monopoly money. You can't even comprehend it. Yeah. But if you look at it in the grand scope, in the grand scheme of things, you go, that's a good quality deal, because you're going to get a lot of innings out. And that's the truth. Like, there's not a lot of tax with his arm. Mm-hmm. His delivery is so smooth that you can count on him. And you know how important it is to be able to count on a guy like, one of your rotation guys to just give you those innings.
Yeah. Yeah. And we say innings eater. He's not a Taiwan Walker innings eater. He's a he's a far above average.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I like that.
That's how he's eating innings. And that's a big deal that you're giving me 6 and 7 consistently.
And what's better than your starter giving you solid 6 innings, is your bullpen also backing up with 0
so good.
runs.
They're so good.
How about Strombo? Like,
Stromboli, perfect day.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect day.
We have our friends later on today. We were talking about the Hers potato chips, and they do the local flavor, which is awesome. So they did the Stromboli flavor. Yes. And it's Romano's, right? Which goes back, and they're one of the original Stromboli people. and so they're going to come in, and they're going to hear us talking about it. And the Romanos, big Philadelphia sports family, are going to come in and
I'm ready.
We're going to taste the
I didn't even eat
Strombolis.
dinner last night. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Strombolis.
Andrew and I were excited today too.
But it's for Strom.
Yeah.
You know, it's Strom. It's Matt Strom Day here on the show. Like, again, he gives you a lockdown inning facing the danger of part of that order.
Oh my God! It's just so much fun watching.
People are saying on my text and in chat, Mark DeRosa, who does great analysis for MLB, he just did, I guess, apparently a whole segment on Nola this morning, breaking him down. And I mean, we're really lucky right now.
Yeah.
You know what's cool too is that when you have a good baseball team, now all of a sudden, you're into watching MLB Network, right? And you're into watching breakdowns and the sport and taking this sport at that level.
It's the highlight of my parents' day. When I talk to them, all they're concerned about is when the Phillies are on. And
what is it? Let me ask you a question, because this is fascinating when it comes to a sociology experiment.
Okay.
The older people love the Phillies.
Yeah.
Like young people, everybody loves the Phillies, right? But the older people build their day around the ball game. Like, they don't miss a pitch. Like 7:05,
right.
6:05, 6:40, whatever it is, they're locked in.
Well, that generation was part of like the generation where baseball was the pastime before the NFL took over. So it stayed part of the.
Is it that, or is it more like it's the daily thing?
I think
so that helps with routine.
Yeah, as you get older,
and you get older,
your social life dwindles down a little bit. You're not that active, bopping around town, and you have something. I mean, God forbid, but we went over that 2015 lineup. Imagine watching that every night.
Oh, God.
So at least this is can't miss TV.
But there's a lot of people that were watching every single game in 2015 and enjoying this season.
Yeah. Nobody's watching every single game in 2015.
What's her name?
I think so, cuz.
Oh, yes. I love her. Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
What is her name?
Yes.
Mayfair.
Linda
from Mayfair.
We used to have a caller. She was the best. Linda from Mayfair. And Linda loved baseball. She had like that smoker's voice. Like she'd go, Anthony.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, baby. I think about it. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And Linda was like every night fighting. It's like, good, bad, and different.
Yeah.
Now, now you have a team like this, which is maybe one of the great teams of all time. It's possible. One of the memorable teams. You think about certain teams, and we should do this as an exercise.
Absolutely.
Over the last 20 years. Look at the great teams that we've seen. This team could be one of those.
I don't think there's that. Well, I mean,
Astros.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant just in Philadelphia, but
MLB in general.
Nationwide.
No, I'm talking about baseball, MLB.
Yeah.
Some of those Yankees teams in 2000s.
That comes to mind is the Astros cheat, no cheat. The Astros
Got to put
rate,
them in there, yeah.
right? Like the Astros rate.
What about the Cubbies in 16?
I don't know. I think that was more of Schwarber aside. I think that was more of a 1 year, 2 year thing.
I gotcha.
That ended pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like you look at this run now you're going on 3 years.
Yeah.
You know,
you're absolutely right.
Andrew was down there yesterday. What was the atmosphere like yesterday?
It was great, man. I had a lot of fun. It was a playoff atmosphere. I mean, it was crazy. It was a packed house. The fans were involved, even though it was super hot. I mean, it was deadly hot. Everyone was in their seats, ready to go before first pitch. People are excited about this team, and it's just really cool to see a team like the Dodgers, someone who's so polarizing like Shohei Ohtani, being there, and just hearing the boos. When he would come up.
I mean, that's what it felt like on television. It's like you're hearing that, like a Philadelphia throaty boo, which is freaking awesome, right? Like it's that loud. It's July. It's like this reaction isn't going on anywhere in the sport.
No, I couldn't imagine.
Anywhere in the sport.
And Ohtani's never gone through an atmosphere like that.
That's what's so unique about it. And I know we have said it. I know I feel like I repeat myself constantly with it. But the daily nature of this game and the reaction of the crowd night in, night out, I mean, it's not the same people.
Yeah.
Like, we used to joke about the Flyers about when they were selling out. I mean, they used to sell at the Spectrum. They had a sellout streak that was legendary, right?
Yeah.
And it was like 17,132, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, oh, it's the same crowd, right? This 42,000 is not the same crowd. It's like people are hunting for tickets, and they go down. They just automatically get swept into the vibe.
Absolutely, man. It's an atmosphere that everybody wants to go to. And guys, if you want to go down to that atmosphere, check it out for yourself. Let me tell you guys real quick about our friends over at the Game Time app, guys, because look, with baseball season in full swing, I'm excited for baseball as much as you guys are, and I want to head down to the ballpark. I'll actually be there this upcoming Saturday, tomorrow, for the A's game. Obviously, game one here tonight. So if you guys want to head out now before the All-Star break, you guys can absolutely do that. And make sure you guys check it out with Game Time. And we love the Game Time app because, number one, it's a free app. We all love free. But it's super convenient for ticket buying, especially for last-minute tickets. That's where people are saving up to 60% on ticket buying. Guys, we got to save money in today's economy. So make sure you guys are checking out Game Time. One of the best features is in the app, right? You're going to look for your seats. You can actually see the seat and the view of the seat before buying, which is really dope. And then, of course, you can see all the fees before you hit the checkout page. I know you guys have gone through some of those other services where you hit the checkout page and here comes $500 worth of fees. But with the Game Time app, you'll know exactly what you're paying before you hit the checkout button, and we all love that as well. Last minute tickets, no problem there. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with the Game Time app today. All you got to do for the promo code that we always hook you up with is create an account through the Game Time app, right? Use that promo code PHLY for your first purchase. And on that first purchase, you'll get $20 off. Again, the promo code is PHLY. It'll get you $20 off. Download the app today. Get your ticket buying and go. And it's not even for sports events. We have a bunch of concerts still coming up. I heard Zach Bryan's coming into town next month. So you guys definitely want to check out the Game Time app. And while we're talking about going down to the ballpark, enjoying some summer activities, let's talk about our friends over at Rite Aid, because Rite Aid is going to be our spot for any last minute things that we need. Any type of medications. I'm going to hook up my boy, the Cuz here, with some allergy meds as well, because we all know he needs it too. And that's all through Rite Aid with all their pharmaceutical services. With a My Pharmacy account at Rite Aid, you can refill your prescriptions, schedule a vaccine, get personalized care recommendations, sign up for prescription notifications. All you need to get started is a prescription at Rite Aid. Get started today at riteaid.com/mypharmacy. Stop stressing about those prescriptions, people. Let Rite Aid refill them automatically for you. Enroll in automated courtesy refills. It's free, easy, and most prescriptions qualify. Talk to your Rite Aid pharmacist or sign up through My Pharmacy account at riteaid.com. Restrictions do apply. Get your prescriptions at the same time with one-trip refills. Ask your pharmacist to sync your medications so you can pick them up with one visit. You can also sync with your other family members as well. Just ask your local Rite Aid pharmacist to get started. And again, restrictions do apply. Manage prescriptions with Rite Aid mobile app. It's free and easy, guys. Just got to download it. If you have the iPhone, download on the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, get it through the Play Store. And then you can transfer or refill your prescriptions, set up medication reminders, enroll in prescription notifications. Just download the app here today. Transfer your prescriptions to Rite Aid today. Just go to riteaid.com/transfer. Rite Aid caring pharmacists are ready to answer your questions and help you with stay healthy. Get your prescriptions along with anything else at Rite Aid, including over-the-counter medications, household products, cosmetics, and much, much more. Just ask your pharmacy team for details. And again, restrictions do apply. So for whatever you need this upcoming summer, make sure you guys keep Rite Aid in mind, cuz.
All right, JP. Big story of the day. Obviously, the Phillies sweep of the Dodgers in a major statement. We deemed it an NLCS showdown, and the Phillies just one punch knockout. You know, Boots is fighting tomorrow night. One of the great Philadelphia fighters. It's a really good card at the Wells Fargo.
Oh, yeah?
Wells Fargo?
It's awesome, yeah.
Wow. At the center?
And Boots, I love Boots. He's fighting. This was supposed to be a heavyweight bout, and it's a first round knockout, second round knockout. It was utter dominance by the Phillies, by the way. TrueMark, check out the credit union difference at TrueMark.com. I know Kelly Body, who's the CEO of TrueMark, is fired up today. She loves the Phillies.
And we hate the Dodgers.
MLB.com. Phillies ace the big test with a statement sweep of the Dodgers
Let's go.
by friend of the show, Todd Zalecki.
I love it. But it's true, though. When you look at it, right, like they are now clearly, I don't care about power rankings or whatever, there's one, the Phillies are one, and then everybody else
They're
is
still not favorites to win the World Series or the NL in Vegas. I do not understand what's going on. So they're a bargain right now, people. You should hop on them and grab them.
They know something, VJ.
What are they?
They're Dodgers are still to win the World Series plus 300. Phillies
I
are
love the
plus
Dodgers,
475 on BetParks. To win the National League, Dodgers are plus 150, and the Phillies are plus 250.
They love LA.
Wow, man,
Really?
really?
I feel like a steal right now.
Plus 250, if you think about it, right?
They should be even. If anything, they should both be even at this point.
Right. If you're getting 250,
Yeah.
they're going to have home field.
Right.
You're right. You should jump on that.
So,
now.
I mean, not to be a little weirdo with anxiety, which is where I tend to lean. Anyone concerned about Wheeler's back?
No.
Nah, I mean, that's stuff you work through.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you're a guy who.
I mean,
who
I
has-
got bad back right now.
but you also you don't have the training staff that he has and
spasms.
the whole thing.
Do we have to get Baldy down there, or what's going on?
Baldy doesn't even believe in spasms.
He doesn't believe that your back hurts.
yeah.
He doesn't
Love
believe
Baldy.
in sickness.
Yeah, especially after this weekend, Ian Money in the chat saying Bryce at plus 800 for MVP after we saw Blotani. He might fall off his shelf.
Let me ask you a question. Where's Trey Turner at?
Can
Trey Turner make a
Let me
run?
see if I can find these.
Could Trey Turner kind of make a late, and he missed 21 games,
Yeah.
right, with the injury. But if he plays a lion's share of it, he has a chance to win the batting title.
BetPark has him at 10 plus 10,000.
Isn't that worth a pizza?
Yeah.
Like a
Yes.
like a Finsky?
Yes.
Like just you
pizza?
but you make Bryce you're like a $20 play, and you make Trey Turner a Finn.
Yeah. Otani's minus 335. I like someone in the chat room. They're already calling him Otubby.
I love it.
It's fabulous. Hey,
He still went 3 for 10.
Yeah, I know.
300 in the series, but
I know. But listen, he left a lot of guys on base.
yeah, he did.
All right. He had chances to win the last two games and failed.
Yeah.
So, by the way, let's move on to the news of the day. How about Kyle Lowry?
He's back.
Back in the fold. Kyle Lowry re-ups with the Sixers, wants to stay home, not go to Phoenix. And we talked about this. He gives you, listen, he can't play a lot of minutes.
Right.
We saw that against the Knicks.
Yeah.
But what he does is he gives you toughness. He had the one game. Remember the one game against New York where the toughness really ruled?
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you toughness, and he knows how to win. Like, he's won before, so that also helps that route.
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't like the Paul George, wow, like, we got Kyle Lowry, but this is like the necessary signing that you need. I mean, you hit on the stuff that he was doing last year, but we also talked about how, like, this young core is still young, even though Max needs to send himself into a star player, but you still want that veteran leadership even with going into this upcoming season, especially with Jared McCain. And you brought it up, toughness, the familiarity with Nick Nurse as well. This is just a necessary signing.
Yeah, I like it from what it is. Like, you need guys like that. We talk about the clubhouse all the time, the Phillies in the room.
Yeah.
It's good to have a guy like Lowry. And again, you need another ball handler. So you got a veteran guy who can give you in the playoffs, can give you 8-10 minutes. I mean, you're not asking him to do a ton, right? And he can facilitate for you. So like, they asked him to do the issue with Lowry in the playoffs was there was no third guy because of the friendly ghost.
Right.
Because Tobias was there.
Yeah.
Because Oubre's not a 3 when it comes to scoring. So they kept needing someone else besides Maxine and Embiid to step up.
Yeah. Oubre feels like a trash man to me. A really good, effective one. You know, he gets these trash buckets. He'll have a three every now and then. But they can't go wrong with Lowry. I mean, he's the vet minimum. He's a winner. He's a leader. He's tough. He's a Philly kid. I mean, if he would have went somewhere else, I would have been really disappointed.
My only question now for this team is how the power forward position is going to look. Not only just starter, but obviously the depth as well. That's my only question with this team so far. But Morey's done a great job of obviously we talked about the blank slate. He's really filled out this roster. I mean, we talked. The big one is Paul George is a huge upgrade over Tobias Harris. But just curious about the power forward position.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll find a body.
Listen, what they're going to wind up doing again, and they're in a great spot when it comes to the deadline, like adding at the deadline. That's a big deal.
Assets.
By the way, so thanks to West Virginia, Rick. They need Trey Turner needs 4 at bats a game the rest of the way to qualify for everything.
Okay.
He needs to average that.
I think that's doable.
That's doable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're gonna get in the.
I think it's interesting because we talked about it. The last Philly to win the batting title was Richie Ashburn. Right?
That is crazy.
That was a wild one by Tyler.
That's a long time ago.
I know. I mean, we
said the 60s.
Like, think about that.
We've had Pete Rose here in the 60s.
Abreu was the top 5. We talked about Utley, Abreu, and you mentioned Pete. But yeah, I mean, you have to go a long way back. So I like to see Trey Turner.
Let's get that for him.
I'm enjoying his. I feel now I don't know. When you guys watch games, right? And this is a fun thing. When a guy comes up, you can almost feel it.
Yeah.
Like there were times when you were a kid, didn't you look at Mike Schmidt and go, "He's going to hit a home run"? Right now.
He had that little wiggle.
Like you felt it, right?
Yeah.
Like Howard would come up, and you could almost sense it. You could sense when a guy is raking and it's going to come through, right? You just do it. You do it with Bryce all the time.
I was going to say, you feel with Bryce too.
Schwarber.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Schwarber.
Lead off.
Like you always feel it, right? You go, like before he hits a home run, there's like a weird vibe about feeling it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I with Turner, it's like, like all of a sudden he's up. You go, oh, dude.
And just speaking of home runs, I love Bohm, but why is Schwarber not in the home run derby? Like, if there's anyone I want to see from this team in it, the way he just pounds them and trots around, he just looks like an old Babe Ruth.
He hits majestic.
Yeah.
Like, he hits majestic home runs, too.
Yeah.
I think Bohm's out in the first round, if I'm being honest.
Hey. Don't even put that in
out
there.
Dude.
Don't even put that out there.
Dude, I don't know.
Did he win? Whoever he's using as his batting as his pitcher, he won a derby somewhere?
Yeah.
And also, real quick.
Yeah.
To the Mariner, we haven't talked about the Mariners record in a minute. Do you still want that record?
Yes.
All right,
that's a stretch.
At this point, 2001, it's 6-3 wins, and we obviously have 61, so we're 2 off of the
Mariners.
Mariners.
I want that record. I do. I know it doesn't mean anything in the long term. I understand it. But I like it.
I think we're way off pace, though. John Clark's just set out this morning. They're on pace for 106 wins right now.
Well, he said they're 2 off on
Well, no, at this point today, back in 2001, they had 63 wins, and we have 61. So he's saying
we might have played a few more games this time. Maybe they started a little earlier,
or their second half.
Yeah, looks like they were off today.
But Seattle might have had a better second half. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know how much better you can play, right? Than what they're doing right now. I don't know how much you could do that. Hey, real quick, couple other nuggets, or not your nuggets, but news nuggets. Paul Skeens. Funny.
Dude.
My buddy Tooch goes, Skeeves in the corner cracks me up, talking about Andrew. Well, Skeens, his doppelganger, pitched yesterday, and 7 no-hit innings. They took him out 99 pitches. He had 11 strikeouts. 99 pitches.
Yeah.
Do you leave the kid in for a no-hitter?
That's ridiculous, man.
He's going to have so many no-hitters. No. He's at 99 pitches in the 7th inning. Now you're looking at like a buck.
25.
Yeah. Nah.
I mean, you want
him for the whole second half of the season? He's a rookie
Here's
arm.
the thing, though. Like,
would it really kill these guys to go 120 pitches, though?
That's my point, which is you got to give him the 8th inning to see how he does.
I'm with you, cuz.
Nah. I protect that arm at all costs. It was
pretty cool.
The problem is, but again, we've seen guys come in and just pitch. Look at Nola.
Yeah, but Nola's not that. Nola's not that 102.
I agree. He's not throwing 101, 103. But if you look at Ski's delivery, it's not too herky jerky on your arm. I get it when you're generating that kind of velo.
Yeah, if you're the Phillies, if you're the Pirates organization, you let him go and he gets an injury soon after that. Oh
God! I mean, but you can't you can't go at it in fear.
If I'm the Buccos, I can.
I want the no hitter. Speaking
of Skeens, Versace called an under on Skeen's strikeout. Ian Mooney in the chat room says, safe to say Versace isn't going into the family business. Called under 7 strikeouts, and he pops 11.
Yeah. Yo, dude, no good on that one.
Hey, while we're talking about Skeens, I got an early nugget somewhere. Let me find it.
I was in the barbershop watching that performance.
Pitchers
Great.
with multiple starts of 0 hits and 11 Ks in a season. Paul Skeens and Nolan Ryan. That is it in Major League Baseball history.
Wow.
Dude, the Skeens, man.
Real quick, too, a couple football notes real quick. Monty Kiffin, the longtime defensive coordinator, died, Lane Kiffin's father. Monty Kiffin was, remember the Buccaneers?
Yeah, of course.
So he was the DC for the Buccaneers for a long time.
In 02,
the
right?
Tampa 2 defense was his, playing at Tampa 2. And he was a guy like the Eagles, like that early 2000s and the Buccaneer rivalry. Monty Kiffin.
Painful game.
Because Derek Brooks, right?
Covered sideline to sideline. Oh, my God.
They were the first to do the Tampa 2 with the safeties.
And then Lovie Smith brought, when he was a DC, he was a linebackers coach for the Bucs, right? And then he moved to St. Louis. I think he went to the Chicago Bears as head coach. And he brought that cover 2 as well.
Well, but it was Monty. It was Monty Kiffin. Right?
Yeah.
And he was a great football guy.
Yeah.
Like
I'm looking at it. He started coaching in 1966.
That is fun.
He was pretty cool. I got to meet him, talk to him, and he was one of those, because I love, like, we all love Jim Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was, like, when you got to know, like, I got to know him, I was around that team a ton, and he was like, he really felt like your grandfather, right? Like, he was that kind of, and Monty Kiffin was the same way, like this true, like, football guy, like uber football, but like with the big heart.
Yeah.
Like crusty exterior. Like there was that role of the football coach, right?
Yeah.
Who's gruff and barks at you, but he's got the warm center, and that was Monty Kiffin.
I always found it funny because he was obviously defensive mind, and his son became an offensive mind in the NFL and in college as well. Lane.
Yeah. Who, by the way, had a weird career trajectory.
Yeah.
He's been all over the place.
Literally.
Because he is a great offensive mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other football note, because football will be starting soon, there's talk in Dallas that Dak will not be the quarterback next year.
This is crazy. Jerry Jones is off his rock. He might need a mental cognizant test as well down there.
Somebody brought up, too, their cap. Where are they spending all their money?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so mismanaged. Obviously
still needs a contract?
Yes. There's a lot of talk about
Micah
CeeDee
Parsons
Lamb,
going to need a
the whole
contract
thing.
soon.
I
love the ego of Jerry Jones, where he just will not release control of this team.
It's unreal. All right. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Joining us, the Brain.
Brain. Red, the Brain Finder.
Hello, Brain. Good morning. By the way,
Good morning to you, my friend. How are you today?
One of our friends in the chat room today said that Versace, your son, will not be going into the family business after calling for a Paul Skeens under strikeouts.
That was actually very funny. It's funny though, but he called me last night. He's like, but no, I gave he's like, I like the Phillies in the 5-inning line, which did win. It did win, and he gave me a third one, which won too. I have to be honest. He went 2-1. He did go 2-1, but he lost in the juice on the Paul Skeens. It was like -180. So I'm like, okay, you made a little bit. Nothing wrong with that, but the Paul Skeens pick, not the best day to be feeding Paul Skeens, right? Gosh. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, no hits. I mean, I got to tell you, Anthony, doesn't he look like he's going to be like, the best pitcher in the league? Like, he just looks the part.
I got to be honest though, and maybe because it's the age thing, but I wish he'd take a shot at the no hitter. Like I remember Dwight Gooden pitching at 19 in the 80s and going and just looking so dominant, and I don't know. pulling a kid after 7 innings of no-hit ball at 99 pitches. Like, I at least got to give him a chance to see if I can get the thing done with 120.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, Anthony, it's funny. One of my betting partners, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with my stand here. One of my betting partners, like, called me up. He's like, "What the heck are they doing?" He's like, "What are they doing? Taking him out of the game?" I'm like, "Well, you know what? It's a matter of their general manager, the manager. They could lose their job if they leave him in the game. It's stupid. It's dumb." Because my theory is, Anthony, there was less injuries back in the day when we were growing up. There was never injury. These guys used to pitch 38 to 40 starts. It would be 4-man stabs. It would be, and no one would ever get hurt. I mean, it was far less. There was no.
Well, it was interesting because you'll go, well, look at the velo that he's thrown at. But you know what's funny is that they talk about the technology and the radar guns that they used back in the 70s or whatever, 80s were off. They were off by a couple miles an hour. So
I did not know that.
They looked at, I just read this piece about Nolan Ryan and how Nolan Ryan would be clocked at today more accurately 103, 104, that sort of thing. And he had that arm, that rubber arm. I don't know. I listen, I get all the fear of injury, but I almost think it's a pack mentality where it's this thing where you can't you have this.
You're right.
It's like having this amazing car, but you can't drive it.
There's no data on it suggesting that throwing 125 pitches versus throwing 98 pitches is going to make it where you're more apt to have Tommy John surgery. Again, as I'm saying this is just go back when we were growing up, Anthony. There was far less injuries, and these guys threw a lot more. And to me, again, it's like what you just said, a pack mentality. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy where because it's like this is the way of the world, no one's actually questioning it. No one's saying, you know what, like it's like when someone zigs, maybe you zag. Like this would be a perfect chance for me if I was running a team of like, you know what, all these people are babying our best players. I'm not going to baby them. I'm going to use it to my advantage. If everyone's just saying, oh, you can't throw Paul Skeens 100 pitches, I'll throw him 125 pitches. I'm like, I know there's no data that I show that makes me feel like I'm doing something negligible to the kid's career.
And by the way, what do you do for the kid that if he does throw a no-hitter? Like that means something,
huge.
Right? Like
it's huge.
That's a feat, right? And that's a big deal,
feat.
Right? And it's for a franchise that's a woe-begone franchise. So there is a moment, like you start to build something there. And that's why I would have went for it. And again, if he gives up a hit, I yank him. That's it.
Yeah. But that team, Anthony, I've said this before, again, they just lost Jones for the year, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But when they have Skeens, Jones, and Keller next year, that 1, 2, 3, if it's not the best, it's up there. They just add a little bit of offense. Not a lot. They don't even need a lot. They're going to be a team that's good for the next 4 years.
Well, you're right. And, I look at them and I go, you just need to I agree. They have some good young players. I think O'Neal Cruz, I like him. I do. He's kind of had a down year.
But he's still good.
Yeah, I like him. There's some of those young bats, but I agree with you. You got to do better than McCutchen. We love Kutch, but as your leadoff hitter.
Well, again, it's like you see. Look, I got to tell you, Anthony. If somehow I had the money to run a professional sports team, I would look at it and call me corny. Like I have a civic duty. Honestly, like I would actually be like, this is if I could afford to own a major league team or an NBA team or an NFL team, it's my civic duty to support that team and not make it an embarrassment of a Pittsburgh Pirates that in 30 years have spent less money than I bet on a baseball game. I mean, it's like it's embarrassing how they just don't try to for the city. Like let me get all these extra revenue money, and they just pocket the money. The owners, they don't spend it on the team. And as I said, I find that to me, you're a caretaker for that city, for that organ, for the entire fan base, and they fail woefully. And I hate saying it.
But meanwhile, how about the Phillies sweeping the Dodgers? Statement. So let me ask you, because you love baseball.
Yeah.
There's the elite teams Are the Phillies now, because clearly they're the best team in baseball. The Yankees have had their drop off. The Dodgers have had a drop off. It's the Phillies and the Phillies alone. Now, as we speak, at this date, here in July, they're clearly the best team in baseball. Are they an elite team of the last 20 years?
That's a great question. I'd have to really dig into that. Like again, in my lifetime, I thought, and I'm curious, Anthony, what your take is. I thought the best Phillies team of all the teams they ever had was it the 2010 year that lost when they lost 1-0. With 2011 when they lost 1-0 that last game when
the
when
four
Chris
aces
Carpenter
to the Cardinals,
beat and they had Ryan Madison as closer. Yeah, I thought that was they had the best starting staff and the best hitting. So I thought, and they only won like 104
I didn't
or 105
love their
games.
lineup. But you remember,
Really?
Hunter Pence in for Worth was a drop off. Howard was a little not as tough. Remember, he's come off the injury. You know,
I thought that was a really good team, though. I mean, look,
great team.
The Mariners team that
team.
won 116 games was obviously really good. They won 100, and then of course the Yankees beat them.
Astros too. Like if you go through most recently, the Astros
are
great,
tough.
You know,
they're tough. The Astros. Look, I mean, they're right. Look, Anthony, they're right there. I mean, because obviously they have the hitting and they have the pitching. But I will say this, and again, I'm curious to see. Just again, we're seeing maybe a little bit of a slippage from Ranger Suarez, because to me, one of the reasons they've been so elite is that Suarez has pitched like a number one starter. My gut has been this entire time that he's going to keep trickling down and down and down, and you know, let's say water holds its level. And I don't think Ranger Suarez is a number one or even number two starter, in my opinion. So again, I'm just not. I mean, again, I that's not an insult.
Our
Doesn't mean he's not really
Connor
good.
feels the same way. Our Flyers, all PHL guy too.
We know who the trainers are amongst us.
Well, I mean, no, I'm just trying to be, again, just trying to be honest and keep it real. Now, again, so to me, look, you obviously have Sanchez, who's pitching great, and obviously Nola and Wheeler are true, theoretically elite guys. But yeah, this team, what I call it one of the best teams in the last 20 years, not sure I can get that far, but it's really, really good.
Well, the other thing, though, is their bullpen is ridiculous. I mean, look what Strom's doing. Right? Like, so if you have that offense, and with Trey Turner back, and Trey Turner's back to himself, when you have that lineup is pretty elite, great pitching, great rotation, or really good, and terrific bullpen.
Anthony, it's a great team. And as you said, but I love what you said, Anthony. It's the best team today, because that's a very important part of this. It's like for game 163, what's it going to be like? Will it still be the best team on that particular day? Maybe, maybe not, because right now, look, the Dodgers have injuries like to Yamamoto and to Walker Buehler and to Tyler Glass now. How will it be come when they're healthy? Will the Phillies have injuries? Will Zach Wheeler be healthy come game 163? So to me, it's great that today they are, but again, it's like we, as Sixer fans, we know it's really about how will your team be once the playoffs start. Will you be the best team that particular day? Right now, I agree. There's no question it's Philly.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, what do you got for the weekend, buddy?
And they got a couple things. I'm going to stick in one game, and I like this game a lot. St. Louis Cardinals are playing the Chicago Cubs. Kyle Hendricks, Anthony, let me read you these stats for Kyle Hendricks. 63 innings pitched. He's allowed 80 hits with a 7.56 ERA. That's kind of like Carson Pick and Paul Steen's strikeout bets. Not very good. Okay, and I absolutely think there's no reason the Cardinals should not score runs off him. Sonny Gray, one of the better starters in baseball, ERA of around 3, dominant whip. I like the Cardinals in the 5-inning line right now on Anthony on Parks. You can lay about, I think it was minus 130 in the 5-inning line, laying a half run. I see no reason why they should not be able to do that. And I love Sonny Gray to get over 5.5 strikeouts, Anthony. He's 13-3 to that number this year. 13-3. Okay, and he's averaging over 7.
He's one of these guys that kind of falls through the right, like falls under the radar.
He does for a guy and he's pitched a long time, but he's had a really nice career. 13-3 to the over.
Problem is he pitched for the A's,
Yes, you're right. And 13-3 to the over, and he's averaging almost 7.5 strikeouts per game. They made it 5.5 against the Cubs team. That's the 6th easiest team to strike out. That's my favorite of the two bets. That should have been 6.5, maybe even 7.5. That's a really, really strong bet. And I will say this, Anthony, before I let you run. Not that I'm suggesting it, but I would be careful. If you usually Philly should beat Oakland, I get it. But Harris has been Oakland's best starter. He's actually given up 3 or less runs in his last 8 starts. I could see this game being close, at least through the first 5-inning line. I would normally say Philadelphia would rout Oakland easily every game, but I could see it with Suarez not being quite as great recently. I could see the game being closer.
Well, you're coming off a sweep of the Dodgers.
Exactly.
Sometimes
emotionally.
there is kind of that let down, calm down kind of game.
Yes.
And then real quick,
yes, sir.
There's a kid from the White Sox I love, this Crochet.
Amazing.
And he's pitching tonight. He's like a strikeout machine too.
Leads the league. Yeah, he leads the league. You know what's crazy, Anthony? And I got to tell you, and I'm not sure how much of this you have great contacts in the sport. There have been real rumors that they're going to deal him, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh no, that's all like that." And I'm like, why would you deal a cost-controlled young pitcher like that has that kind? I don't get it. But again, it's who knows?
That's always the problem with baseball is you have these franchises that just shouldn't belong.
Right,
they shouldn't exist. Like the White Sox. Like if you're going to trade that kid, then why? Just fold the doors. Like just close up shop.
Right, that's my whole point. Like why? And again, I look at it. Call me whatever.
Luis Robert. Like you want to trade him? All right. Like you try to rebuild the whole thing and turn it all over. Jimenez. Go ahead. But you're not going to trade Crochet.
Let me ask you a question, Anthony. When you send your young kids to a teacher, they're like the custodian for your children, right? You're trusting them with them.
Yeah.
I look at it as running a sport. If you own a sports team, you're a custodian for the fan base. And when you just, blank on them and say, we don't care, we just want to make an extra few bucks on popcorn or peanuts and saving a salary, I think it's disgraceful. I can't stand it. And to me, if you can't afford to own a major league team, then sell the team to someone who can.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Hey, Brad, you know how you're saying, be wary of the Phillies coming off the sweep? Yeah. What do you think about the Dodgers coming off getting swept? They're going into Detroit. Detroit's like 1-6-7.
Skubal.
Again, I always say, here's the thing though, like when Skubal pitches, that raises Detroit's IQ quite a bit. Paxton against Skubal, I'm not fading Tariq Skubal against anyone. We always talk about it. Pitching is the one sport. Football, offense beats defense. NBA, offense crushes defense. But in baseball, look at the All-Star game over-under, guys. It's 7.5. And that's Aaron Judge hitting, Juan Soto hitting. The over-under is 7.5. It's like the lowest over-under of the year because pitching always beats hitting. So I'm not looking to take the Dodgers in this particular game. And look, the Dodgers offense, let's be honest, without Betts, that's a big player you're taking off that team.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you. Bray, great stuff, buddy. As always,
see you guys
pal.
Monday.
We got our boy. I'm looking at him right now, Versace. I got to tell you, he's become a favorite around here.
Oh man, listen, a limited playlist by process of elimination.
Yeah. Bray, thanks, buddy. Good luck this weekend. There he is, the Brain, brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. So you can't get to you can always have it in your pocket all the time. I get it. It's great. I'll tell you. But how about getting up to Parks Casino in Ben Salem? You want to talk about a lot of fun. Parks Casino, perfect for after-work get-togethers, date night, right? Fellas night, girls night out. Sip on tantalizing drinks, soak up the warmer weather, good vibes at Parks Casino. Parks Casino, this is how you win. How about this? How about the epic $5 happy hour, great food and drink every Wednesday through Sunday at the Liberty Bell Gastropub? You want to do that tonight? Enjoy $5 drafts of Ford Stout, Victory Seasonal, Parks Pills. Enjoy $5 glasses of Albertoni Cabernet. Enjoy the drink of summer. How about $5 Twisted Tea, frozen whiskey, Arnold Palmer's? Yes. Plus, you can feast on flavor-packed $5 small plates, braised short rib sliders, hot honey chicken sliders, rotisserie chicken sliders, the all-new Parks Casino epic $5 happy hour happening right now. Listen, summertime's approaching. All roads lead to Parks Casino, the #1 casino in Pennsylvania here in the thick of summer. Parks Casino has 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games, beautiful poker room, collection of incredible award-winning restaurants, Joe Conklin every week. How about the best cover bands every weekend at 360 Lounge? Headliners at the 1,500-seat Excite Center at Parks Casino. JB Smoove, Tiffany Haddish. Tickets for all shows, parkscasino.com. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino, this is how you win. And we're brought to you by Olipop. Listen, every day I walk in and VG has an Olipop. And he drinks. Now, Olipop's delicious. VG will tell you it's even delicious room temperature.
Room temperature.
Which I think is psycho material. Anybody that drinks soda, room temperature is bizarre. But the beauty about the Olipop is it tastes good and it's good for you. It promotes gut health. And VG walks around like, I'm getting my fiber. And like, it's a refreshing drink. Like, you always think about the taste first. It's unbelievable. You got to check it out. Olipop available online now. Almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, our favorite, right? So check out. Use the code Philly20, 20% off your next Olipop order. Discount only applies to one-time orders. Olipop sold online. DrinkOlipop.com and Amazon. Again, Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, Olipop. What do you taste it, man? And by the way, I put some gin in it. It's even better. So check it out. Olipop. All right. We've reached the 10 o'clock hour of the program, and that is brought to you by Rite Aid. We love our Rite Aid as well. RiteAid.com for all your goods. Again, I took an allergy pill. It's not working. All right.
I don't want to take 3.
I know. If I take 3, I'll be sleeping on the set. All right. Now, as we approach 10 o'clock, the Phillies and A's this weekend. And if you do Quizzo anywhere in the city, all right, you know this guy. He is the Quizzo master. He's also a great Philadelphian. He loves it. He loves our town. He's the best. And, of course, Shibe Sports celebrating their 10th anniversary. Johnny Goodtimes. Hey. What do you say, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Good to see you, man.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Dude, I got to tell you, I love, your spirit is fantastic, right? Because you just love Philadelphia. You love the town. You love everything about it. You contribute to it with Shibe Sports, right? And you got this new beer.
Yeah. Thanks, Ant. I feel the same about you. I love the energy you bring on the show, and I love that you're getting this thing going, and it's so exciting. And the fact that you put up with this guy is unbelievable to me.
Weird, right?
I mean, to have a guy on the show that's wrong about everything every single day. Greg and I have been arguing at bars for 2 decades now, and I've never seen somebody. Takes. Yesterday, he's talking about how Ohtani's overrated. I mean, come on, how do you even handle that, and you're a saint. You're a saint, brother. So we've got some new beer here. We just did with Second District down in South Philly.
Yeah,
my buddy Kurt down there, he's the best. So I knew it was going to be good. He was the guy I went to, and we just wanted to do something a little different. We have having our 10th year anniversary, celebrating this weekend. We knew when we saw the A's were on the schedule, that's what we were going to do.
So you got to tell the people about this, right? About their whole idea, the Philadelphia A's and the connection and keeping it alive.
These guys are obsessed with the A's.
You are. You're obsessed with the A's. But it's cool. It's cool. My father, I go back and I think about my father. He loved the A's.
Right. Everybody, the A's were Phillies' team. That's the thing. The Phillies stuck around, but if you talk to the old-timers were all about the A's because those teams in the 20s, who the real old-timers were fans of, they were better than the Babe Ruth Yankees. Because the Yankees are the Yankees, everybody, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig are still in the lexicon. But Jimmy Fox was right up there with those dudes. The A's were one of the greatest teams in baseball history. And it was kind of funny. When we started the business 10 years ago, the Phillies stunk, right? It was right after the run. It was the worst time you could ever open.
Oh,
we had the 10-72 Sixers. We had the Chip Kelly Eagles, and we had the Phillies, whose best player was Odubel Herrera.
Yeah.
So
try doing sports talk.
Yeah, right. So it was.
Hey, you guys' ratings are down. You think?
Yeah. So it was like we had to come up with a hook because nobody's just coming out to buy a Sixers shirt for a 10-72 team. Nobody's coming out to buy a Phillies shirt when they're angry that the team got rid of all the stars. So it was one of those things where it was like, well, I've always been a big sports history nerd. I've always been like, I always found the A's history fascinating because it's kind of been forgotten. And I was like, let's try this out. And people just responded to it. And people were always just like into that history. They were into Shibe Park.
Dude, they do like these nice tailgates before some games. And it is a wild collection of A's maniacs.
Well, we did them before the A's came in last
what's
year.
cool about it? It's like,
am I at a Star Wars conference? Am I at a baseball tailgate? What's going on with this crew?
It's one of the most fascinating franchises, right? Because what year did they leave Philadelphia?
54.
Right. Because my father was a little boy, and he loved he told me that his father, my grandfather, said that it was always an American League town.
Yep.
That we weren't a true National League town.
Right.
That the Phillies, like you just said, the Phillies were really the stepchild.
also-rans.
They
Yeah.
were the White Sox to the Cubs.
Right.
The Mets to the Yankees. Right? Like that's how they were, which is so interesting because we don't know that. But they leave, they go to Oakland. They have this incredible run in the 70s with the pitchers. And then the Bash brothers with Canseco and McGuire. And then all of a sudden, they fall off the planet, right? And they're so bad that next year, before they move to Vegas, they're going to play the AAA stadium.
Right. Yeah, it's a tragedy. I mean, it's I've a lot of respect for Oakland. I think it's kind of in a lot of ways kind of the West Coast us. They're kind of plucky. They're kind of a little bit rough around the edges, but they've got a lot of heart. They got a lot of soul. Yeah, right. But but it's like that same sort of thing where the fans that are out there are diehard fans. When it was Raiders fans, you remember that was like going to the vet was going to the Oakland
Raider
Stadium.
Nation,
Yeah, right. So like, there's a lot of that similarity in terms of I think the sports culture and the sports fans, and I think for their owner to just completely disregard that and treat him the way he is disgraceful. I mean, I think it's outrageous.
You're so right. I always hated franchise moving. Like franchises moving. We talked about, Brad said it earlier about a public trust. And
right, totally.
I mean, it means so much for a city's or a town's psyche.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And these guys they just don't care. I mean, it's just, it's simply another thing on their ledger sheet. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the team colors or what the rivalries or whatever. It's just another thing on their spreadsheet. They've just at this point, and it's sad because there is so much history there, and I don't know. It's going to be kind of funny. Vegas is just kind of a weird place for Philly teams. Former Philly team's going to end up in Vegas, like what circuitously. But it's crazy.
So let me ask you guys a question. This is fun. Now, obviously, it's not going to happen.
By the way, you see Greg's already digging into the beer there.
In
JP,
if you don't mind, brother, we'll split it. Get me a glass, right? And then you and I will split it, all right? Because I got to taste. I got to show respect to my man Johnny Goodtimes to taste his beer because I know it's probably delicious.
I don't know how much respect you want to give him. He's a Frisbee guy,
I know. We'll get to the Frisbee in a second. But I got to ask you guys. So let's play along here. Could Philadelphia support two baseball teams? Like, do we have the capacity to do that?
And I actually did an article like 10 years ago for Philly Mag about exactly that. And, there was that little grassroots thing that kind of popped up.
I remember.
For a hot minute. And I did an article and it was 2014 or so. So that's back when we were all met at the Phillies again because we had that great run, but we didn't follow it with anything. And it was kind of like, here we go.
Charlie was out.
Right.
We had the mannequin manager. Yes.
Yeah. And it was just, it was one of those things where it was like, the A's, the funny trivia question is always, what's the winningest pro sports team in Philadelphia history, championships-wise? The answer is Philadelphia A's. They left 70 years ago. They won 5 championships.
Left 70 years ago, and they still have the record.
Yes. Yeah. Still number 1.
Oh, my God.
So I think.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I wonder why Skeeves is what he is.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that was a question that was worth asking. The Phillies would never let it happen, of course.
Right.
But, I think it could. I mean, we look at the size of our metro area. I absolutely think that 2 teams could make it here. I think, like I said, the Phillies are not going to go for that. But I think it'd be pretty cool, especially if it was like we had a team in North Philly and a team in South Philly.
Yes.
And you put them back
That
up
would
there.
be cool.
Yeah.
I think that would talk about Shide Park and
Right.
Oh, man.
Like,
Now you're talking
like-
his language.
Well, it goes back to what you do. That would be interesting too. Like, you're right. If you put like a stadium on the river, right? And then ballpark on the river and had the American League team there and the National League team, that'd be
it'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun, especially now that you have, cross
We're
city.
such a sports crazy town. Like,
Yeah, I even think you could put the team in South Jersey.
Yeah, well, of course.
It's just there's so many people.
Now you're getting crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be so much fun. I was totally on board for that whole thing. And my problem with the Phillies has always been, if you look at it historically, this team never sustains a run. Right? Like, this team has runs. We had a run in the late 70s, early 80s. We had the run in 2008 up to 2000, or really 2007, I guess, 2011. But it's like every time we do that, even the Whiz Kids, even go back to the Whiz Kids, like all the 1964, every time we never follow that up. We always take a nosedive after a 3 or 4 year run.
Okay, well, here's my the counter to that. It's part of the sports cycle, right? It's really impossible. Unless you're the Patriots and you have.
I mean, the Eagles have done a nice job of breaking that.
Yeah, yes. No, without a doubt. I mean, their GMing has been terrific.
Yeah. Here we go.
Now, I will say this. I think it's different. I think where we are now is different because you have Middleton, right? The issues with the Phillies owner, or the Phillies in sustaining runs, it was twofold. The owners never went all in, certainly not up until 2008, right? Now you got Middleton, who just wants this, right? So as long as he's here, I think that's a part of it. And Dombrowski is a great GM.
Yes.
And he has a farm system now that you got a lot of good talent.
Yes, he's done an incredible job. And hopefully when they make that handoff, they have a more successful handoff. Gillick was also a really good GM and got the thing turned around, but then we kind of lost it with the minor league system.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. What do you think?
Could we handle 2 teams?
Yeah.
No. I think people are so ingrained right now with the Phillies. I mean, if 2 teams were playing tonight, that other team, the A's are going to draw 1,200 people. Everyone's just so, you know what I mean? I don't see it happening. TV ratings, how are you going to split it? We don't have enough people to split it between 2 teams. 1.4 million people in the metro area, 3 million. Chicago's got like 12. All right, Chicago, I just don't see it happening. And I don't know that. Well, I don't have the time for it.
I mean,
I like my pagan partner.
This is such a sports crazy town, and we've got sports
networks.
networks. We
Both
have NBC Sports Philly. We have NBC Sports Philly Plus. Like, you have so many hours to
PHLY,
fill.
baby.
Right? We got PHLY. We got all.
I don't have room for another TV in my living room. I mean, come on, let's settle down.
Greg's
bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Yeah, he's scared of too much sports.
What's funny in those other cities with 2 teams, you have to pick. Right?
Yeah.
And
that's happened in Philly, like you said about your granddad. Everybody used to pick the A's.
Yeah.
They're all like in nursing homes at this point. There's not enough of them around anywhere. I know they do a nice tailgate with you, but there's not enough to sustain a team.
All right.
They also do great. You brought some shirts.
Tell us about Shop. What do you got? Yeah. And what's the best? Listen, you do Quizzo all over the area. Give me your favorite Quizzo locations.
Well, the ones my favorite ones are the ones I do. So it would be Loco Pez, 20th Street. It would be, that's Monday nights. Tuesday nights, I'm at Founding Fathers on South Street. And then on Wednesdays, I'm at Dock Street.
That's delicious.
Yeah. And then actually, I'm kicking off this Sunday. I kick off at the Oval. So
The
I'll be
Oval's
out.
nice.
Yeah,
Outdoors
right in
during the
front of
summer.
the
That's a good spot.
Yeah, Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
What is your
That's for you, sir. No, that's for Greg, and this one's for you, Ant.
oh, look at this. Oh, that. That's fabulous.
Spectrum
Yeah.
shirt.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's cool. That's very cool.
I can't
And
go
you
wrong
got the
with the
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
I used to work there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was an usher
Okay.
over at the Spectrum.
Now, how far back we going here?
I was in high school. I was senior year in high school.
It's right before he was breaking into Mo Cheeks' luggage when he was a luggage handler at the airport.
That's fabulous. I love like all this stuff. So we got our friends from Romano's, right? And the hers does the Philly local chips, right?
Mm.
And the local flavors.
Yeah.
So they came out with Stromboli flavored, and our friends from Romano's, right? They used their recipe to create the chip, right? So we have their Stromboli. So I love all of our the Philadelphia kind of spirit, which you've become. Like Shive is amazing. Everything but Frisbee.
Come on now. I know you're not a fan of flick sports.
You can't. If you can throw, you throw.
Nah.
The flick is. I hate the flick. I'm a throw man.
Come on,
you got to use your arm.
You watch hockey, and they don't even do. They have a stick. They're not even. They're hitting the thing. They're hitting the thing with a stick. They're not throwing it.
It's something to throw. Like you got to throw something. Like he'll tell you. We're around.
We got to get you out. We got to get you out to practice. Once you learn, you know why? It's one of these things. Yeah, he doesn't like it because he can't do it. If Ant, once he starts doing this and he can launch it 40 yards, he's going to fall in love.
So do they throw overhand?
They do.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you throw it. Yeah, you throw the.
Well, that makes it better than this.
Right. So this is.
I mean, this is good for bogus.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Yeah, they do a little.
Yeah. No, these guys take the thing,
don't
flick
throw
it
it
like
over?
that,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
throw it 70
What,
yards.
like a sidewinder?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They actually televise the games on what? NBC
we got our first
Philly
live
Plus?
game. Yeah, no, we're on NBC Sports
Oh,
Philly next Saturday. As the
he
lead
brokered a
into the
TV
Phillies.
deal.
wow.
I'm rolling, baby.
Look at that, baby. That's fantastic. That's unbelievable.
Building an empire over
That's
here.
right.
I love it. Listen, we love you, Johnny. Johnny Good Times. You are a true Philadelphian.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks, buddy.
that.
There
You
he
too.
is. Johnny Good Times. Hey, coming up, don't forget Bob Nightengale will join us. Really looking forward to it. USA Today baseball writer. So we're looking forward to it. He's going to come in and hang out, and we'll talk trade deadline. We'll talk all this stuff. But first, look at this. We got Strombolis. Matt, come on in here, Matt. Get in here, Matt. Hey, I want to hear about the great story of how the chips. Matt, get in here, Matt. We're looking forward to it. The true Stromboli, VG, which is
Love a Stromboli.
the history of it and the whole thing. As I'm fighting off the sneeze, you may have to start. You and Johnny Goodtimes will have to do the show.
People say you need a mute button.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the whole
Dude, it's
fighting
the
off
worst.
the sneeze.
And then you get the tickle, like where it feels like there's a feather in there.
Oh my God, it is the worst. Look at this, Romano's. This is unbelievable. Look at that. Whatever, ready to show the people. So you guys, sit down, Matt, Dad, the whole thing. You got to be able to do that. Hey, JP.
Candygram from Mongo.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
My son Dan.
Yo, Dan, what's up, brother? Hey, JP, sit in. Tell everybody real quick about what we need to do with Mortgage CS. All right, and then we got to talk Romano's.
Absolutely, guys. All right, guys, let's talk real quick about our friends. We're all Strombolied up here. So, guys, real quick, let's talk about our friends over at Mortgage CS. Today's real estate market is ultra competitive. Prospective home buyers, perhaps just like you, are missing out on an opportunity to win the perfect home. But why? It's because you don't have a company like Mortgage CS behind you. It may be news to you, but the mortgage company you choose matters more than ever. Even if you're already in the market, you can still explore your options with Mortgage CS. This is home financing, guys. This is not a marriage. You may be shocked how much money you could be saving right now. And the best part about Mortgage CS, it's an independent mortgage broker in the Philadelphia area, which means they won't steer you just with one mortgage option. They want what's best for you, and that's what they will do for you. And the cool thing about Mortgage CS, they're Philly people. All right, so the CEO, Ben, you can see his number right now on the screen, 267-391-7425. Text him right now. You can either ask him how he felt about the Phillies series against the Dodgers, or you can get your home buying started here today. Or you can go on mortgagecs.com/PHLY, and you can check out their over 375-star reviews, so don't just take it from me. All right, so with your home buying experience, make sure you guys are choosing Mortgage CS.
All right, JP, thank you, buddy. Dan Romano, this is a great story, the Romano family. In fact, I look at Dad, and I know what kind of Eagle fan he is. He once held the wires for Jimmy Johnson when the Eagles sacked the Cowboys 11 times, which is an incredible feat, right? So when Hers did their local flavor, which is really cool, right? Like they did the Primo's chips. They've done all different things. They went Stromboli. Now, in honor of Matt Strom, right, who's an all-star, we decided we got to find out about the historic Romano's Stromboli, where Hers captured the flavor. Mr. Romano, what do you say, buddy?
How you doing, cuz? Hello, Philly. Glad to be here. Thanks for
Dude, I gotta tell you, this story's awesome, man. By the way, Hers did an amazing job with the chip.
They sure did. They sure did. Hers really has really reached out to try to help area local independent.
I love
businesses.
that.
Yeah, and you know, it's really like it's a whirlwind. They came to me last November. I didn't really know that much about the contest. And they said we were one of 1,000 people, 1,000 businesses. They had gotten it down to 12. They were going to get back to me in 3 weeks, and they let me know if it was one of the three. If you were one of the three, you had to sign an NDA, and then they were going to do an R&D to design the chip flavor.
Wow!
And I had nothing to do with it at all. A customer submitted the flavor, because I was like, oh, you know what? I got a Philly special Stromboli. Like, why don't we go with that?
Right.
You don't get to pick that. That's picked by the customer. So they came in, they did the R&D. They came in with 4 sample chips. My father rejected every single one of them. My father's 92.
Oh my God!
And we're living on his taste buds because he still checks all the flavors that we have.
Are you serious?
Our
That's
marinara,
awesome.
our bolognese, our veal scallopine, our sauteed mushrooms. Oh yeah, oh yeah. His office is right next to the kitchen, and he just camps out there all day long.
Tell us about. So you guys were one of the original Strombolis.
We are
The
originators of the Stromboli sandwich. My grandfather.
Yeah, tell me the story. First of all, thank you, and thanks to the Romano family, because there is no better treat than the Stromboli.
I love the Strombolis. Top 3.
I love this.
Top of my
I love
power
this
rankings.
City of Brotherly Love stuff. I love it. It's incredible. I look at the Stromboli stories like Ben Franklin when he invented the lightning rod. He didn't know anything when he designed the stove. He did it, but he didn't stop everybody else from having it. The Stromboli belongs to everybody. But the reality is, my grandfather, Nazareno Romano, created the world's first Stromboli sandwich. He didn't create stuffed bread, okay? He was the first person to tag a food item with the word Stromboli. That had never happened before. And the story goes like this. It's 1950, and my grandfather had come into Essington. He was a South Philly guy, okay? Immigrated from Italy in 1922.
From where? What region?
Abruzzese is
Abruzzo.
L'Aquila, up in the mountains where all the earthquakes are.
Yeah.
And he was a stonemason by trade. He was active in the resistance against the fascism of Mussolini. In 1922, his family said, you got to get out of the country. It's not safe for you. And he came to America. He ends up in Philly. There's a lot of story about that, but he ends up in 1944. He opens up the Essington Pizzeria in Essington, Pennsylvania, and his featured item was tomato pies. He'd been selling them out of a wagon cart during the Depression to feed his family. There's another story behind that.
That's beautiful.
But, he would have his 2 kids. He had a little wagon cart, and he pulled down Washington Avenue. Pizzola, 10 cents
Oh my
a slice.
God! Yeah, Pizzola.
Pizzola.
Oh my God!
And then the kids would run up to the stoop of the house, the front door, and give him a slice of pizza. So 1950, he's got this stuff on the counter. And in Italy, he says back home, They called it imbotito or imbotito. It's a slang word in Italian. It means stuffed bread. And so, you know, what he had in it, he was taking the bread recipe and he was trying to do a takeoff on the Di Costanza's hoagie. The hoagie become very popular. And where he was located on the Industrial Highway, that was like Shipyard Road. There was all kinds of heavy industrial.
Sure, yeah,
More
yeah.
ships were built in the Second World War in that area than any other place in the world.
And that's a great lunch spot, right?
There were a lot of Italians coming to work. The whole story about the Hoggies, and you know, they were coming with these big sandwiches, and they, you know, that's how the hoagie kind of named. That's one of the stories.
Yeah.
Anyway, he took capicola, boiled ham, cottagino, and roasted bell peppers and cheese, and he wrapped them in this bread dough. He puts them out on the counter and cuts them up and was serving to his customers. A neighbor across the street from the Industrial Highway, his name was William Schofield. He was to become my Uncle Bill. He married my father's sister. He's in the store, and he goes, what do you got here today, Nat? And Grandpa says, this is something from home, you know. And he goes, well, what's it called? And he goes, I really don't have a name for it. He said, well, you got to have a name. And Nat says, well, you try. What would you call it? And right off the top of his head, Uncle Bill says, Stromboli.
Really?
Now,
is that from Stromboli? From the
here it comes. So 1950, okay? 1950, worldwide news. They called it the biggest scandal of the decade, of the 50s. Ingrid Bergman, Roberta Rossellini, she wanted to do a film with him.
Oh, my God.
Italian noir film.
Right.
On the island of Stromboli. The movie was called Stromboli. They were married to other people with children. They get romantically involved, and there's a love child. That was the scandal of the 50s. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody.
Oh, wow.
So
You got to be kidding me. So they
it was in the
off
public
of the
domain.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's fabulous.
And of course, Uncle Bill, you know, he's going, yeah, Stromboli, yeah. So that tells you about Uncle Bill. And
That's awesome.
It stuck. And I mean, it would be 6 or 7 years for anybody else would even try to sell a Stromboli sandwich.
Wow.
I think.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the fact that it was bread dough, right?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
pizza dough.
Not pizza
because
dough.
people use pizza dough. It's really not supposed to be. It's supposed to be bread
This is an
dough.
artisan bread sandwich.
Yes.
Because it takes me about 7 or 8 hours. They're made in batches. You have to, just like an Italian bakery, the protocol is exactly the same as Italian bakery.
Yeah.
And it takes time. It proofs 4 times before I can cook it.
You're right.
So, you know, you're manipulating dough. You're breaking down the tendons. You're tightening it back up, letting it raise. And then when it's finally ready, you lay it out. The ladies, the Bowley girls, they're at the table. And they fill them up, and they close it. We have a technique for closing it that we've used for 74 years. The Stromboli is 74 years this year. And then it goes in the proof box the final time. When it's ready, I part-bake them. And I've been doing that
it's awesome.
since my grandfather started in 1950.
When did the pepperoni, right? Because when I was a kid,
Yes.
my mother, she used to make pepperoni. Like, it was always pepperoni Stromboli. Yeah. She did other ones, like, whatever. But the pepperoni, when did the pepperoni take? Because that's still number one, right?
Well,
like today?
So Grandpa created 3 flavors. We have 18 flavors today, okay?
Wow.
And it just, you know, when you're around for 80 years, things tend to grow.
God bless you guys.
So
I love this story. It's a great story.
I'm happy to tell it to you. I'm glad you want to hear it. It's so
He's going to option your story.
When Grandpa
Yeah, we're gonna
first
make a
started,
movie.
there was 3 flavors. There was original sweet, original hot, and original pepperoni. And the pepperoni was right there in the beginning because not everybody liked peppers. Some people can't eat peppers. So the pepperoni Stromboli was one of his originals.
That was his
1950.
original creation.
One of his, yep. That was
Which is still, like, which is always, I have to be honest, that's probably my favorite. I do like the capicola and all that stuff. I enjoy that.
Well, today you're going to try the special hot. Now, that's got 6 different kinds of meats in it. That's the one that the herds chose for the
I
flavor.
can't wait to try it. Oh my God,
It's
this
good
is
again.
fabulous.
Capicola, boiled ham, a sliced pepperoni, a Genoa salami, and brigittine.
Brigittine. Oh my
Brigittine,
God.
the
What's
we use the
Brigittine?
Barry brand
Yeah.
Brigittine.
What is it?
Barry Brothers.
Yeah.
What's Brigittine?
Not Bridget. So there's a Brigittino.
Yeah.
But this is Brigittini. It's like
Yeah,
a
pepper
black
ham.
peppered ham.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you know it. You
So
the
how many,
Colombian,
how
we
many,
kind of
how many
familiar.
bowlies do you go through in a week? Do you?
So it's about, I would say about 400 or 500.
All right.
You know, but we
Yeah.
ship them all over the country.
Okay.
We ship them on goldbelly.com, and we also ship them on RomanishStrombolis.com. Here I
love
go.
it.
You're not going to be able to stop me.
So you
out of
got to
his way.
adopt Max Strom for the Phillies run, okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Because we call him Stromboli, right? Like,
Okay.
you know, he's an all-star.
I've heard that story, yeah.
He's the bat. Like, you know, he's having an amazing season. Phillies, as you know, have an amazing season.
Yes, they are.
You know,
Yes,
the
they are.
Romanos. We got to do the Strom for the Stromboli, right?
Okay.
Yeah, hers needs to work this out, man.
Love
They
to- I love
can
to
make
meet
these
him.
worlds meet.
You know, but I think what hers is doing for
Tremendous.
like I love your story, man.
Tremendous.
I've heard about you for years, right? And I'm like, I can't believe like our people created the Stromboli. Like one of the favorite treats. Like, you know, that's where Philadelphia's the best. Like all of our treats make it, you know, worldwide. And the Stromboli is one of the greatest things ever.
Because, man, I tell you another story. 2015, we had just done a renovation in the building. We didn't know if we were going to stay open or not, and it wasn't cheap. And and about 5 months after we reopened, I get a phone call from a lady. Her name was Nick Vetter. She worked. She was a production manager for the Travel Channel and their program, Delicious Destinations.
Yes.
You know, Bizarre Foods.
Yes.
So she calls me, and I'm in the office. I'm in my dad's office because I'm in my dad's building, and his desk is there, mine's there, and she's talking to me, and she's, you know, I'm Nick Vetter. I know that your grandfather invented the Stromboli sandwich, because that's the mission statement of my life, to get that straightened out, that my grandfather invented.
love it.
Okay? So anyway, she says, we're coming to Philadelphia. We're going to do a program called Iconic Foods of Philadelphia, which we feel you're one of them. And we want to come.
Damn right you are.
We want to come and film you making Stromboli. So I said, okay. She says, now there's a couple forms you got to fill out. So she emails them to my dad, sitting there listening to the conversation. Again, he's 92 years old now. He wasn't 92 then. So anyway, so he says, who was that? I hung up the phone. She says, who was that? I said, Nick Vetter from the Travel Channel. I really wasn't really familiar with the Travel Channel, to be honest with you. I'm in the kitchen washing dishes and making Stromboli or whatever. So I said, they want to come film here. You know, my dad said, how many times do I have to tell you? Nobody gets to see how we make Stromboli.
I love this guy. I love this guy. Oh my God, your father. That's
So,
amazing.
can you imagine over the decade? So that was just a good day for me. Because I said, okay, Dad, I just let it go. 2 weeks later, she calls me back and she says, you know, is everything okay? And I said, what? She says, you didn't sign the release forms. I said, oh, there's the problem. My dad doesn't want you coming in here to see how we make Stromboli. And if my dad don't want you coming in here, you don't want to be in the building. And she says, no problem. She says, whatever you don't want us to see, just don't show us. And I turned to Dad and I said, Dad, we can just show
Oh,
up.
that's fabulous.
Oh, they can come then. They can come on in.
Oh, that's great. To be fair, hindsight, because we got one of the great baseball writers. If I told you he is always on top of the latest news when it comes to the sport, knows the game itself. He's terrific. We go way back. From USA Today, the great Bob Nightengale joins us. Bobby, what do you say, pal?
buddy? Hey, Gus.
Hey, listen, you know this better than anybody. You've traveled around this country, every nook and cranny of it. Philadelphia has great food. We were just talking about the inventor of the Stromboli.
Oh, absolutely. I always stay, downtown there at the Marriott, right across from the market, and every single meal there, and then go have some steak at night. But every breakfast and lunch is at the Reading Terminal.
Spoken like a true baseball man. I love it. I love it. So I listen, the Phillies made a statement over with this series against the Dodgers. Look, I know that the Dodgers are banged up rotation wise, and with Glass now and having Imanga or Yamamoto on the DL, but the Phillies flexed and they basically rolled them over 3 games. I had to bring in the big guns to kind of make sense of who the Phillies are.
Yeah, but right now the best team in baseball, no doubt about it. I mean, they're a powerful team, certainly the best team in the National League. I think they're better than Baltimore as well. But yeah, just we know all the star power they have. With Harper and Turner and Schwarber and the rest. But yeah, they're pitching. been lights out. I mean, we already knew about Wheeler and Nola, but then when Ranger Suarez stepping up, Christopher Sanchez stepping up, a very, very good bullpen. So, yeah, they beat up by a better Dodgers team. The Dodgers team looks like it has in the past. We're built for the regular season, but not the postseason.
So when you look at the lineup, and it's funny, we remember Turner's kind of struggles last year and how the fans, really made him feel welcome and, had his back during the slump. And now he's delivering. If you're at Citizens Bank Park any point up until today, it doesn't feel like spring or summer. It feels like October. And the players love it. Like, they're so into it that the fans are this wild over it. Can you talk about the atmosphere that Philadelphia and Citizens Bank Park is providing?
Well, it's the best atmosphere in baseball, no doubt about it. I mean, I was there a ton, during the glory days from 2007 to 2012. Those were star-studded teams, great teams, but yet it's turning up a notch. And I ask people, they're not sure why. Why is it so much a better atmosphere? Just I don't know what, Harper brought that or what, but it's the place to be. I mean, even the writers in the press box love being at that place because just you feel that energy. It's almost like, when the Cubs were going great, 2016, that sort of thing. But this is even higher. I think it's the best energy for a regular season I've ever seen.
Wow. And just for context, right? And go ahead, VG, because
No, I mean, I have my notifications set on Twitter. When he tweets something, I know when it's happening because he's the man.
No, listen, Bob and I go way back. Bob was always the preeminent baseball writer, and he's been everywhere. So when you say that, Bob, that's incredible praise. You've been covering you've been covering it.
Place. And the players feel it. I mean, even those guys are making tons of money, been there, done that, but they feel that energy. You can't have a lackadaisical effort in Philadelphia. You got to be, top of your game. I remember being there when Bryce Harper's first signs. Okay, I got to be at Harper's first games. I was there the first week. I think it took about game 4 until Harper was booed. But Harper accepted it. He goes, you know what? I deserve it. I should be booed. But no one's built more for Philly baseball than Bryce Harper.
Well, he's also embraced it. He's embraced the culture. He loves Philadelphia. He's raising his family here. Doesn't, again, one of his prerequisites was that he stay here. There's a no trade. I'm staying here. I want to be here. And it's not, and Bobby, Bryce, he's not pandering. This is what he really believes. He loves it here. So little things like the fanatic inside his suit during the London series or the socks or all part of the skyline. He just does little things just to kind of reciprocate the love that he feels here.
Yeah, remember when they sat down to the contract, Scott Boras, his agent, famous for opt-outs, he says, I don't want to opt out. I don't want people to think I'm going somewhere. If I have some great years, I'm leaving. I want to stay. So that's why he signed that 13-year deal saying I'm staying put. And he's the type of guy that really feeds off that. I think if he was in a small market like Kansas City, somewhere else, he'd be an average player. I think Philadelphia has brought the best out of him.
Hey, Bob, I just wanted to get you. You've been around a lot of clubhouses and team chemistry. John Morosi just tweeted out an hour ago. He says, I've covered MLB for 2 decades. Not sure I've encountered a team with chemistry quite like the 2024 Phillies. Does that jump off the page for you two, the chemistry this team has right now?
No, it's outstanding chemistry. I mean, I've been around a lot of great teams with a great chemistry. But, coming up, it was always the Detroit Tigers with Trammell and Gibson, those guys. Those guys would stay in the clubhouse till 2 or 3 in the morning, drinking beer and talking ball. Phillies were great about that too, back in the 90s. And I think Phillies, for a long time, have always had that great chemistry, that great bond. But, it's like, remember the San Francisco Giants win the 3 World Series in 5 years. They never had the best team, but I always thought they had the best clubhouse culture with Bruce Bochy and everything else. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, it's interesting because, right, we've seen Rob Thompson and it's flourish where Joe Girardi couldn't. And I remember thinking when they hired Girardi, wow, it was a great, it's a good baseball man, Yankees, the whole thing. And he never really was able to establish that culture. That culture came with Rob Thompson.
Yeah, it means a lot, and it starts in the clubhouse, obviously, and the manager kind of stays away from it. But Atlanta's been good for so long, and their GM Alex Antopoulos says, "I learned that in Toronto. You have a good clubhouse, you're going to win." So he makes sure he has good guys, and there's not a trade, there's not a move that's made without going through Bryce Harper. Bryce, what do you think about this guy? Does he fit or not? So when people throw out different names like, "Hey, Jazz Chisholm, Phillies." No, Jazz Chisholm not coming to the Phillies. He's not fitting that clubhouse vibe.
So a lot of people are looking at Rooker as a potential. He's obviously here with the A's this weekend. Is that probably their biggest target?
Nice fit. That way he can, the right-hand bat, everything else. A great guy, too. So, yeah, he'd be a perfect fit. They wanted Jake McCarthy, but he's a left-handed bat, but he's playing too well for Arizona. They've tried for a couple of years to get him. But, yeah, I think Rooker's a great fit and a great guy. He'd fit in that clubhouse perfectly.
Yeah, the only thing is the Phillies have some top prospects. Aiden Miller. I'm not parting with Aiden Miller. Can they get him, you think, without putting him in the package? Because Aiden Miller could be their best position player in years.
I do. A lot of those guys that say you don't have to give up a top, 5 prospect. With Rooker, you have through 2027, so it's a steeper price. But a lot of times you don't have to put your top guys in there. The thing is, if you have a great scouting and development, which the Phillies have, go get the next big prospect. You got plenty of years to find that guy. So don't be afraid to trade prospects. San Diego does all the time. They got Nationals, made a wonderful deal getting prospects for Juan Soto. But how many of these teams deal away prospects or get prospects, and the prospects never turn out?
Yeah, that's true. So who's it? Do the Braves make a big splash? Do the Dodgers add to the bottom part of that lineup? Where do you think the arms race is headed?
Yeah, the Dodgers need their starter. Everybody's kind of got their eye on Garrett Crochet, the White Sox. The trouble is, as good as he's pitching, he's pitched more innings this year than his entire career combined. So the White Sox plan to shut him down in the second half. So if you're a contender, why would you want a guy that's not going to pitch or be very limited in September and October? But they got to get their starting pitcher, or it's going to be another nightmare October for him again, and probably some bullpen help. The two teams that probably have the most pressure on them are the Yankees and Dodgers. If the Dodgers don't make the World Series, it's a complete disaster with that payroll. And same thing with the Yankees. I think they got to get to a World Series at least, go really deep in the ALCS, or it's a disaster too, and heads start to fall.
Yeah, the Dodgers, all of that hype going into it, you could see it. And it's interesting, right? Forget the rotation because that they are banged up and glassed down and everything. But when you look at that lineup, even with Betts, when you put Betts in there, the bottom part of it is you can navigate it.
Oh, big time. The bottom part's been abysmal. Like you said, when Betts was there, everybody's going, great guns with Freeman and Will Smith, Otani, of course. But yeah, after the first 5 guys, it just dropped off a cliff. So yeah, they got to get their bat in there. Chris Taylor has started to play better, but they need to get that pitching. The pitching, they got swept last year with the Diamondbacks before the Diamondbacks, beat Philadelphia. So they got to get another arm in there because there's too many question marks. Yeah, Glasnow's back, but hey, what's going to happen when Yamamoto comes back? Who knows what Kershaw brings? Walker Buehler has struggled big time. So they got some problems there.
How about Atlanta? They're always a worry, a concern. Obviously losing Strider and Acuna, it's 2 huge blows. What are they looking at?
Yeah, they would like to get just some, a little more bullpen help and probably another outfielder. They're dangerous. They're always dangerous. They play the game right. and I just saw him for 4 games in Phoenix. So they need Chris Sale to stay healthy. Sale's been unbelievable. That was a trade of the winter. So when you got him and you got Max Fried, you got 2 guns at the top of the thing. We'll see. Lopez has pitched very well for him. So they're still dangerous. I wouldn't cut them out at all. I don't think they're going to win the division, but certainly, winning the playoffs are as dangerous as anybody.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. And this has to do with Skeens off of yesterday. And maybe it's my age, but 99 pitches, is it a complete no-no to let Skeens go after a no-no? I mean, you got to figure it's another, 25 pitches to 30 pitches if he's able to navigate it.
I think they took him after 7 because he could have pitched 8th easily. I don't think they wanted him to have an 8th inning, say through 10 pitches, 12 pitches, and then pull him after 8 innings and have the crowd go ballistic and then look funny. So I think they took the pressure off Derek Shelton, saying, you know what, let's remove him now so he doesn't make it real interesting. You don't want, plus it was a 1-0 game, but you don't want to be rooting for a hit just to get him on the game. But they've been protecting him pretty big. I just don't think they wanted him to go 125 or 130 innings. But when he threw 6 pitches in the 7th inning, that's what made it look funny.
I know. I just got to ask you, does the data support, again, I'm not saying you got to go throw 135 pitches, 140 pitches like it's 1986 and you're Dwight Gooden coming in at 19 years old. But are we too cautious with our starting pitching?
I think so. Remember when the Jabba Chamberlain brought with the Yankees, the Jabba Chamberlain rule? It was a disaster. He never amounted to much. So, we're talking about Garrett Crochet. What if someone lets him throw 200 innings? Will he be fine? I mean, how come, back in the day, these guys were throwing all the time, throwing 250 innings, never got hurt. Now there's more strength and conditioning coaches, trainers, everything else, and guys are getting hurt right and left. Maybe it is, good to go old school and give innings. So, yeah, we're not sure about Skeens. I mean, certainly a strong enough guy. He was a catcher and a relief pitcher at the Air Force Academy. So, who knows if he can't do it, but they're being very protective of him. So I just don't think they wanted him to cross that 120 pitch threshold.
Hey, Bob, you're a guy who's connected throughout the league. As a Philadelphia fan, should we be worried about the Braves coming in with the relationship of trade history with the A's and grabbing a rooker ahead of the Phillies?
Could. You think about the Braves, always seem like they make the right move, kind of under the radar move. So they won't give up a ton of prospects to get him. I mean, they are having Acuna back next year. They still got the young guys, of course, and Harris and Kelenic. So I would think they'd be more in line for another veteran starter rather than, emphasis on an outfielder. They may go on the radar for an outfielder, like a Tommy Pham or something like that.
Perfect. I'd love Pham there.
Yeah.
Destroy that clubhouse.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, the game is in a good place, right? Like we're ratings are up. It feels now we're in Philadelphia, so this is it can be skewed here, but it feels like the game is in a great spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got 32 first-time All-Stars, a lot of young talent. I was talking to Carlos Correa about that, last week. It used to be, hey, who's the best shortstop? Is it Jeter? Is it A-Rod? Is it Nomar Garcia-Parra? Now you got, Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, Mason Wynn, that Ellie De La Cruz kid out of Cincinnati. So, yeah, just a lot of young talent. I mean, it's a young man's game. I mean, it's almost like once you turn 30, you're done. I mean, I know he's been hurt, but nobody talks about Mike Trout anymore. It's like, okay, who's the next?
No, it's amazing. Like you talk about those guys, and you're right. Like, the minute you're in your 30s, it's like, well, all right, well, that's it. That's kind of one of the biggest changes that we've seen is it get younger and younger, throughout the whole game. The draft's coming up and the whole thing with that.
Yeah, and now when you get drafted, you can be up in the big leagues in a couple of years. It used to be, hey, spend time in the minor leagues, get your innings up. Now it's like, hey, you start throwing the ball well, let's go. Like Paul Skeens. I mean, he's the first guy ever to be drafted, first in the country, and then be in the All-Star team the next year.
Yeah, it's wild. Bobby, listen, let us know the next time you're in town, all right? We got to hang out.
All right.
I still miss, it was great times, man. Hanging with you on the road, talking ball, some great memories, buddy.
Yeah, it changed too. It changed the press box. So when I go out and stuff, I miss guys like you. There's nobody to hang with.
Well, let me know when you're in town. We're getting together, okay?
Sounds great. Take care, Anthony.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it, brother. Bob Nightengale, who is one of the preeminent baseball writers, been covering the sport for a long time. We go way back when I was in New York, and
good guy to get a beer with.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah. Great guy. And just, we were a couple of nerds just talking about the game, the whole thing. Yeah. So I love it. Hey, today is also something special. We're talking food because we have the inventor of the Stromboli, Romano's here today. But today is a special day. It is National Crab Fry Day. Thinking about all things Philadelphia and the crab fry chips by hers, which are amazing. Let us welcome our good friend, Pete the Crab. Hello, Pete. Here he is, Crabola. Crabola. Oh, we can't hear the crab. What's going on? Crab, turn your volume up. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. There you go. Here's the crab.
Hey, listen, I have my technical wizard with me, Little Pete. Right?
Little Pete.
Anything that happens that doesn't work right, it's Little Pete's fault.
Yo, Little Pete. So, happy National Crab Fry Day today, buddy.
Hey, Anthony, thanks for having us on. It's our favorite day of the year at Chicky and Pete's. It's our 11th year running. We've been doing National Crab Fry Day for 11 years, which is a day that we sell crab fries in all our venues, except for like the stadium and stuff like that, all participating Chicky and Pete's. For $1. $1 for crab fries to eat in, take out, whatever. And $5 pitchers of Miller Lite. $5 pitcher for you. $1 crab fries.
$5 Miller Lite pitchers
Philly.
And $1 crab fries.
But the bargain isn't the big leader. It's not the bargain. It's all that money that we take in for fries and for Miller Lights will go to the FOP Survivors Fund for fallen officers or injured officers on the line of duty, for their families, so they can have a regular life and help them get along through colleges and so on and so forth. So we do it every year for them. Like I said, last year we did 20,000 orders of crab fries for $1.
Wow.
That was just the crab fries, not including the Miller Lite.
Wow.
Over the time that we've been doing this, we've raised over $200,000.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, it's a great thing for a great cause, for the people that keep you safe every day. The Survivors Fund is there. The FOP they're in charge of they're like the union that takes care of all their union guys. So we really appreciate them. What they do for us, keeping us safe, keeping Chicky and Pete's open, and keeping everybody out of the trouble out of there. How about you, Gargano? Are you going to have some crab fries today?
Of course I'm at. Are you kidding me? My favorite treat. We talk about it all the time. How great treats the crab fries are.
I just had them Wednesday at the ballpark. Fantastic.
Great. Violations Greg just had them Wednesday at the ballpark. In fact, last night, our producer Andrew, he had them last night at the ballpark. Whether it's the ballpark, whether it's the boardwalk, or, of course, all the great Chickies and Pete's locations, there's nothing like when that basket of crab fries comes out, and it's just delicious, man. It's the greatest treat ever. I still can't believe you invented those things, and they're like the greatest candy ever.
Can I tell you something? The Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, wanted to list them as a controlled substance. They were so dangerously addictive. So dangerously. I mean, just like you said, people go to the Phillies game, it's automatic.
Yes.
Go get crab fry.
Yes.
It used to be $1 dog. Now it's $1 crab fry. I mean, it's great.
But you know what's
Except
funny?
You can't get them in at the stadium. I apologize. You have to pay regular price there. I'm not in control.
No, but you know what's funny is that anytime you go anywhere, any Chickies and Pete's or anywhere that's got crab fries, that you're at the ballpark or the boardwalk, the kids, like, it's the first thing that everybody wants. Like, it's amazing what you do. And you know what's really, you have great sandwiches, you have great pizza, you have great food. And I have to tell you, your crabs are still the greatest. Like, I love your crabs. Like, they're still the great. They are. They're delicious. And it's amazing. It's amazing how they
the claws.
how the crab fries just did it. And I love what you do for the Survivors Fund. That's such a wonderful charity.
Listen, 11 years going strong. We'll be doing it every year as long as I'm alive. That's for sure. And we'll always try to take care of the people on the front line and take care of us, whether it be police officers, firemen, nurses, doctors, whatever. Whoever's on the front line, we got to take care of them because they take care of us. When it's important, and it happens, unfortunately, to people, you got to have somebody there to save you.
That's right. That's right. Spot on. My advice tonight, you got the Phillies game. Head over to Chickies and Pete's in South Philly.
Yeah.
All right? Which is always my favorite of all the locations because of your brother, Big Lou, because I love Lewis. South Philly is always my favorite location of all the locations that you have.
Well, let me say this. Don't forget that they're take in or eat out. You can eat them in or eat out.
Perfect.
You can buy the fries. We have some days like this. People pull up in minivans, like baseball teams, like little league teams. They all come piling out crab fries for $1. You know, it's like the funniest thing. They get like 2 orders apiece. These kids. They just got done playing ball. Man, they can eat. They get in there. They eat their crab fries, or they take them with them. It's so much fun. It's a fun day. It's like the free. You know, it's like $1 is like free. I mean, what's $1 buy, right? So, but the money goes to a good cause, or else we give them to people.
I love it. Listen, you're going down the shore?
I'm going down the shore after this.
I like it.
Tour. Since I got my technical director, Pete, here, we haven't broken up. Pete, you're doing a good job.
Thanks. I'm always getting tired.
He's always getting tired of holding. I need 2 hands to talk.
Well, give little Pete a hug for me. Brother, have a great weekend. We love what you do. It's a Philadelphia treasure, man. The crab fry is it, buddy. Just like you.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for having me on.
There he is.
Go Phils.
The crab grow Phils. That's right. The crab hanging out. What a fun day. We're talking with Shive Sports, Johnny Goodtimes, Dan Romano. Danny, I just love the story of your family and what you do. I can't wait to taste a piece of that incredible Stromboli, man.
I also brought you. That's Danny. I'm Pete.
You got Pete. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I got Danny. I got Pete.
I had brought. When you had when you were at WIP, you had a contest for sandwiches, and I brought the veal scalpine. I brought that back for you today.
Oh my God.
And we were number 2 in that contest.
I remember that.
And I brought you seeded rolls because the one thing they had said that the roll wasn't beefy enough for the veal because it's like a stew that my grandpa made.
Oh my God! You got to be kidding me.
So that's among the little trinkets that are coming.
And how about you? Do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
You got to tell the story. You held the wires for Jimmy Johnson at the vet?
So that was the game that Babe Loffenberg had to finish because
of the 11th
Clyde Simmons knocked
Troy
Aikman out with a separated shoulder. That's in the locker room that morning. Jimmy Johnson said they got to kill 3 birds and they go in the playoffs. That was their mantra that morning. But I was just helping a friend of mine, Donnie Stewart, who played at Widener, and he ran the visitors' lockers room. So I was in there,
right?
And I'm just like trying to stay back, and the guy that was supposed to do the wires for Jimmy went across the field and started talking to Buddy. And Jimmy saw it and said, I want him off the field.
That's fantastic. Wait, hold the story. I just want to take this moment, and I want to thank all of those watching on Roku. How much we love you guys. Appreciate it. Please have a great weekend. All right? Be safe. We'll see you on Monday. And, of course, our show, it's overtime. As Friday hits, overtime always hits. So stick right here on YouTube. You can see the OT with Danny, with Pete and Dan, and, of course, TV Todd, who will be coming up momentarily. So thanks, everybody, on Roku for hanging out with us. So, Pete, here you go. Jim Johnson fires the guy. You're on duty?
I was on duty. In those days, it was a wire. They weren't, remotes like they are today. So I actually brought a bunch of pictures. I'll show you later, but I have pictures of me. You have to follow him around. I mean, And when the defense was on, he didn't need the wires,
right?
And then so you follow him around the whole game, and it was a pretty exciting moment. And when I got home,
he's actually a great guy, Jimmy Johnson.
He is.
He was a great guy. I had a chance to get to know him a little bit, and he's interesting because he would have a Heineken truck deliver beer once a week.
Nice,
right?
Yeah,
and you had to have a beer with him, and for him to trust you. Like if you didn't have it, he was like, that was a true story about Jimmy Johnson.
And then football. When I came in, he said, "Well, you look like you played football." And thanks for that. And actually, making Strombolis has kept me looking that way. Because I'm wrestling with dough every day. But I have another connection to football, if I may.
Sure.
I played high school football and went out as a senior. I'd never played football before. And I went out for the Interborough High School football team in 1971, 71-72 team. And they had just changed coaches. George Corner had been the coach, and Ray Spafford came in from Lansdowne, all of them took over the program. And I thought, I'll go out for a wide receiver, even though I had 2,400 vision. And my wide receiver coach was a gentleman by the name of Vincenzo Papali.
Oh, Vince Papali, that's fantastic.
So, I go out for the team, and there's about 105 guys, and 63 they kept. And fun experience. A lot of fun experience. And he was my wide receiver coach. So, I make the team, and how to get on the field so I can letter. I went out for special teams. They made me captain of the special teams.
Look at that.
The number I wore was number 83. Vince Papali, 1976. Never played NFL football before. He goes out for the Eagles. He makes the team. What does he do for the team? He plays special teams. They make him captain of the special teams. What number does he wear? 83. If you don't think that at that time I wasn't living vicariously through Vince Papali.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? It was, you were invincible. Chris Stroley's invincible.
But he was a heck of a coach. I mean, he believed in running. We did a lot of running that year.
That's awesome. Hey, we have one of the great, if you like film and TV, because I think there's a story about your grandfather and the Strombolis. What do you think, VG? I think we can make it.
I'll write this on spec with you.
I think we could write a great movie about, because listen, that's one of the interesting stories, right? Is that they're taking businesses and you have this guy, you can just see it, right? It's the depression.
We can do Stromboli. We could call it Stromboli on steroid,
I love it. And we're going to do the film about your grandfather. I love it. And we have our producer. He's on the line with us right now. He is the great Todd TV Todd.
Act like a man. You can't handle the truth.
It's time for TV Todd.
Todd. Good morning.
Hey there, boys. Todd. What a lineup today. Wow.
What do you think?
Keep up with us.
What do you think? We have the inventor, the family who invented the Stromboli, and it was off of the movie Stromboli.
That's
amazing. I didn't know that, and when you just told the story, I looked it up. I mean, that's fantastic. And I do think, VG, let's start writing that today.
All right,
think about it, right? If you can make a film about hot Cheetos, then you can make a film about Stromboli.
That's right. The only thing in my mind right now is whether we call it Stromboli or whether we just call it Bowley.
Yes.
I like Bowley. And we're having a Bowley Fest on August 4th at our place.
Are you?
We're giving away free Stromboli slices and Hurst chips, of course. And
Oh, that's
I've got live
great.
music going on, so I like Bowley.
That's
I like
awesome.
that.
That's awesome. I know what
I'm
I'm eating. I know what I'm eating tonight now. My God, I want one right now.
So,
Todd, we got to talk. I got some stuff for Todd this week.
yeah, we got some great stuff. So here's the thing. We started talking about this off of July 4th. We watched Jaws on the holiday. And I had said about movies that hold up to this day. Like, you watch that movie and you go, it still holds up. It's uncanny. And that kind of piqued your brain for this week.
Yeah, listen, I've been talking about that for a long time now, and we're approaching the film's 50th anniversary. So the question keeps coming up is, why is it the quintessential summer block? I mean, it was the first summer blockbuster, but why has it held up? And I really think when you think about it, it's not really about the shark, right? It's about the characters. It's about the inner workings between the sheriff and Quint and everybody like that. The famous Quint Indianapolis speech, of course. But really, at its core, to me, the soundtrack, right? It was one of the first films. Hitchcock did it first, but it was one of the first films that the soundtrack, the theme of Jaws, when you hear the shark coming, it's so suspenseful. But also the idea that you don't see the shark until the end. And that's something that Hitchcock started, Spielberg mastered between Jaws, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, you didn't see the T-Rex till the end. It's the perfect pacing of a film. Perfect pacing, suspenseful, character-driven, great dialogue. You hear the music. I'm telling you, I've thought about this for many years. When people always ask me your top films, I have to put it as numero uno for all those reasons.
Yeah, that's so. You're so on point with it.
It's a perfect battle. You got the guy trying to do the right thing. He's up against capitalism and the mayor and the businesses who want this money to come in. I mean, I watched it with you, not with you, but the same day. And it's a fantastic, fun movie.
Is it true that the speech that Robert Shaw gave was ad-libbed?
No, that's a bit exaggerated, but
Okay.
there's a kernel of truth in it. What happened was the speech was written. Robert Shaw, who was a very talented writer, he revised it. So he jumped in and helped the writers come up with a more realistic or paced speech that was exciting and knew he could deliver it well. So in a way he did, but he wrote it. It wasn't ad-libbed.
But he wrote that. That speech is just amazing. And it's amazing how they go from, like, that scene, you realize the genius of Spielberg, right? Like, because this scene, which is really fun, lighthearted, they're drinking, they're talking about their scars and the whole thing. And then they get into the serious of what really the true backstory of why Robert Shaw is the way he is.
Oh, absolutely. And you know this, Anthony. I work on a lot of Shark Week shows, and I have two this week. And there's not a phone call where I don't somehow work in. And the thing about a shark, if he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes, I work it in every conversation.
That's fantastic. Tell us about two things off of this. Why did Shark Week, like, we have this amazing, curiosity about this species, these sharks, and it became a thing. Like, when did it first hit? And tell us about your shows too.
Oh, it's been around for decades now. I mean, Discovery is really the gold standard for Shark Week, but lots of other networks are doing shark programming now, Nat Geo and others. But honestly, people are fascinated with sharks. I think it's because they are considered to be monsters, true monsters living among us, but they're obviously very misunderstood and very important for the ecosystem and absolutely fascinating. I've done a lot of Shark Week shows. The two that we did this week, which are all on demand and streaming now. The one we did aired early this week was Alien Sharks of Japan, where we went to Japan and we found all kinds of interesting species of sharks that have never really been seen It's beautifully shot. It
Oh,
did
my
really well.
God.
People loved it. And then tonight at 9 o'clock, we have a show called Sharks of the Dead Zone, which we shot in Florida. And it's really more about how these bull sharks, are dying off in Florida in these lagoon areas. And we get into the science of why that's happening and how we can save them and things like that. So people love the shark. Listen, they love the shark attack stories, but they also love the shark science stories and the marine biology type angle. So that's why I love doing Shark Week programming. We cover it every year.
That's awesome.
And it's almost like you'd have to be a psycho not to love the beach and the ocean. So we all like to go in the ocean, and it's super scary. I mean, there's this man-eater out there. So we're fascinated to learn as much as we can about this creature.
Yeah, and think about it, VG. How many films can we really talk about that really just gripped a nation? People stopped going in the water. To this day, people are terrified to go in the water because of the movie Jaws in 1975. I mean, that's why I have to say this has to be the #1 movie of all time.
The only thing that ranks up there with me is I always, and to this day, have a shower curtain. There's a little piece I can see through because that psycho scared the crap out of me back in the day.
Well, you are spot on. And I will tell you, anytime someone brings up Spielberg and brings up all these points, because, there's undeniably Spielberg is one of the greatest filmmakers of our lifetime. But a lot of what he did, Hitchcock did first.
Yeah.
And so there's no doubt about it. Spielberg built on it, learned from it, mastered the craft. But Alfred Hitchcock is the originator of all those things we talked about.
Yeah, no, it's true. You never know when the pagan is going to come after you, man.
If I'm in the shower, like a dog starts barking, I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? Got to be able to see through.
So what do you got for us this week, brother?
Well, there is a lot going on in actual feature films. Yeah, I have to say, there's a lot of cool series coming out we've talked about, but the feature films are killing it right now. And it's great to see because I like that form. Anthony, you and I love that form. So we love to see that form, that, hour to 2 hour, hour and a half to 2 hour form coming back, storytelling. So in the theaters right now, and you guys know from me being on the show, I love a good horror film, but I like a horror film that tells a real story. So right now, and I've talked about this before, there's a trilogy out there in the horror space that I think is the best that we've seen in decades. Ty West, the director, did X, then he did Pearl, which is a prequel to X, and now in the theaters, which people are loving, is Maxine. Maxine takes place in the 70s, but this is a trilogy of horror films, all connecting the characters. They're standalone films, but the horror world is going nuts over them. So that's in the theaters right now.
What's the plot?
I'm not sure I can say this, right?
Yeah.
So the plot, the X starts out. X is about, it all takes place in the 70s. X is about a group who are making a for lack of a better term, a porn film, and they travel in the middle of nowhere to shoot it. It's in the 70s where that is very popular, and their VHS cassettes are just coming out, so they're figuring they can make a lot of money. And they encounter this family there, and horror ensues. In Pearl, you
like
see
an
the
older
backstory.
woman who's crazy.
But in Pearl, you get to see the origin story of that older woman in the 40s and how she became what she became. By the way, all those characters are played by the actress Mia Goth, who just crushes it.
Yep.
And now in the third film, the character from X goes out to Hollywood to try to make it in the 70s porn industry. And so it's a lot of Boogie Nights meets thriller. I'm telling you, this series kills it.
They're the best going. I mean, I grew up on horror films, and it's the closest to like the old Evil Dead kind of vibe. That's late 70s, early 80s. They're great films.
Great films. I can't recommend them enough. They're really something.
So what else you got?
So there's that. Right now, speaking of summer blockbusters, let's go back in time for a minute, starting in the 80s and then concluding in the early 90s. One of the biggest summer blockbusters that actually started the whole buddy cop kind of genre in film, Beverly Hills Cop, right? And while we were off last week, Netflix premiered the fourth film, the Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley movie, bringing Eddie Murphy back to the big screen, bringing a lot of the original characters, Judge Reinhold, Bronson Pinchot, and Kevin Bacon's in it, our own Philadelphian Kevin Bacon. So that came back now, and it's created a whole resurgence and interest in the early Beverly Hills Cops films, which when you go back and watch them, surprisingly, they really do hold up, and they were the first of its kind. But you realize, and I don't know that the younger generation is going to totally appreciate it, you realize what an incredible talent Eddie Murphy was.
Oh my God,
Without
he was.
him, oh my God.
Funny.
Love Eddie Murphy.
But down in the tailpipe. Now you got to say it with some salt. Oh, you fell for the banana in the tailpipe trick. It's the greatest.
There was
was the
nobody
best.
like him back. Nobody like him back in that time period. But he did create a genre of film, the buddy cop film, the cop who's like,
Nick
this is my
Nolte.
week of retirement.
48 hours.
The whole thing. You're right.
The bar scene.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Did you watch it? Did
Real
you?
quick. Eddie Murphy throws a Cuz homage in that. In I think it's either one or two. I think the first one. He goes to see Victor Maitland, and they ruined the buffet at the Hollywood Club. You remember that scene where he gets into a fight? And he goes, "Easy, Cuz." He throws a Cuz out there. It was classic.
That's great.
Eddie Murphy is the best.
If you go and you know what, he still is. The movies that he's chosen to do now recently, I think, are solid films. You have to go into a film like Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley with the right expectations, right? Fun,
right?
Enjoyable, bringing back the characters. I enjoyed it from that perspective. If you go into it with this critical eye of, it's a great film, whatever, you're gonna just have fun with it. It's supposed to be a summer, fun, light film.
Didn't he choose, because of his kids, that he wanted to make more family-friendly movies, and he changed his career arc?
Yeah, I mean, he did say that, but I mean, I think guys like him, when you're that much in the public eye and that much as a superstar, you really get to a point where you can only go down, right? At the end of the day, your films start getting criticized. Other people come on the scene, and I think he wanted to retreat a bit from the spotlight. Not unlike Shelley Duvall, who unfortunately passed away
rest in peace.
At 75. I mean, she obviously did one of the greatest films of all time, The Shining, and disappeared in the 90s. But, when Eddie Murphy came back recently, he's done some not-so-family-friendly films, which I thought were amazing. He did a biopic about Dolomite a few years back called Dolomite Is My Name. Amazing.
I saw it.
Amazing.
It was tremendous. It really was. I watched it.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was a great movie. Todd, great stuff.
Axel F got a enemy of the state, Kevin Bacon. He's a known Knicks fan now, wearing Knicks jersey. So I'm out on Axel F. Remember during the run, Kevin Bacon was wearing
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I tried to watch Cocaine Hotel.
Oh, I told you, it's horrible.
The writing and the acting is so bad.
Horrendous. I texted Todd.
It's so bad.
We didn't talk about this.
I put it on last night just to be like, I'll watch it before I see Todd. I was like, this is junk.
So I was all excited to watch it, right? Then I'm like, this is great, because Todd kept saying, it's up your alley, it's up your alley. Yeah. I go in to watch it. Tam and I go, she's looking at me like 10 minutes into the show. Yeah, dude, this sucks. Like, this is horrible, right? And if I'm like, let's give it another 20 minutes. And then I went, oh God, this is horrible. And I texted Todd the next day. He's like, it's that bad? I went, dude. He didn't see it.
Yeah.
Dude,
No, I did. In fairness, I did watch the first episode. And while when I talked about it on the show, and I know, I hear what you're saying.
Oh my God.
I kind of liked it.
We might need new rep for this Stromboli movie.
No. I will admit, I said this to my wife who started to watch it. It's cheesy. It's ridiculous.
Horrendous.
The
dialogue is horrible.
So
the ratings terrible. The plot sucks.
It's a total.
The cop is going to blackmail the club guy who's clean to get involved with his brother. Oh, man.
MGM
Like
budget.
Justice Locke.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Did you
these
guys-
mother fathers, they green like that crap, and I can't get my. You know what I got?
What's the budget on that?
Yeah.
MGM. It's MGM Plus.
Man.
No, VG, I will tell you, and I'm wearing a collar today because I'm going into some network meetings after this. MGM has some hefty budgets.
Yeah. Wow. They didn't spend it on that film or that series.
Yeah.
Hey,
Did you guys even get to the Rick James scene?
yes, I got to the Rick James scene.
Dude, I missed the Rick James. I love
It's
Rick
a
James.
band Rick James impersonator, like out of Vegas or something.
They had a couple. Oh, dude. I was excited because they wanted to go with Hunter S. Thompson. Like, they have a Hunter S. Thompson. I'm going, wow, Hunter S. Thompson. It was horrible. The guy who played him, he was terrible. How they did it, oh, what a disappointment.
Todd, real quick.
Well, listen,
Go ahead.
No, go, VG.
I got a sneaky good one before we get out of here. Couple to thruple. You see this?
Oh, wow. No, I have not.
Peacock. So 4 couples meet up with like 20 single people trying to turn their couple into a thruple. So good.
Well, I know, VG, I know you're like a secret Love Island type
That's
guy.
no secret.
Like,
Love is Blind. Love Island. I'm in on it.
Right,
Love
so-
Island's
so
great
VG,
this year.
I'll keep you posted. One of the things I'm close to getting greenlit here is a 24/7 house reality series. I've done house reality series, but not a 24/7, and it's in the dating world, stuff like. So I hope to get that picked up this week, and then I'll be able to talk about it.
All right, there's one for JP and Andrew. I'm probably going to start this weekend. Undercover Love. You have 5 European soccer superstars who can't date in Europe because everyone knows who they are. They go to LA to meet ladies and they do a dating show because
That's
no one knows
actually
who
a
they
genius
are.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Hey,
That's
brother, we love you, buddy. Go slay the meetings. Break a leg.
Thanks, guys. Love you too.
There he is. Todd TV. Todd every Friday. Hey, Pete, once again, thank you for hanging. Romano's, the original Stromboli, the inventor
Love the
of the
bully.
Stromboli.
74 years strong.
God bless
80
you.
years in business.
Thank God.
We're going to Bowley Fest all over the place.
So people got to check out the Hearst chips because they're delicious,
Yes.
and then go taste the real thing.
Yeah.
The Bowley at Romano's.
everything we have
Danny,
on social
good
media
talking to you
is,
too, buddy.
is Stromboli, Romano Stromboli. RomanoStromboli.com is our website, but all our social media is all Romano Stromboli. You want any details on the Bowley Fest that we're having? There's going to be 3 of them, but the first one's going to be in the 21st in Boyertown at Ellison's Taekwondo. My sister and her husband, Max and Denise, Acoustics with an Edge, will be playing there. So, and then the second one, August 4th, is going to be at Romano's in Essington, 2 to 6.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic, brother. Congratulations.
Nice
we're
work.
We're going to start on the movie. All right, so we'll start creating the
The
movie.
ambassador of Stromboli is leaving the house.
Everybody, thank you for hanging. We love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we appreciate you. I hate saying that. I didn't mean that.
What?
I appreciate you. I
You
hate that.
You hate being appreciated?
No, I hate saying that because
Oh.
it feels disingenuous.
Huh. Don't you appreciate them?
I do,
Well,
but
just say it.
but that saying is not good. Andrew, JP, Versace, great job.
Great week by Versace.
We love you
Buddy
guys.
boy.
All right, we'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.